Welcome everyone to Saturday Evening Chats. This is April 2nd, so every second matters is today, and we are going to talk about the Second Amendment and how we can start up more conversations with the average everyday person. So I'm going to kick off the banner, or maybe if I can get my mouse to work. You'd think I'd...
In a world of uncertainty and turmoil, one man stands alone, along with his faithful sidekick. A man who entertains and educates the masses weekly, 70% of the time. Born out of the dusty plains of Washington State, now from the coastal forests of Oregon. The man, the myth, the man. G23.
Man, we only got part of the intro.
So, we have our co-host extraordinaire, Mr. DM Foss. Welcome.
Hey.
First in tonight was Chris from the 740. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
Last but not least, so far, we have Rob D, the New York Outcast.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining us.
So, first in the chat was Rob, followed by Artak and Daughters, Mandatory Carry, Chris from the 740, Brian Gross is out there, and Mr. Harold Farmer. So, welcome everyone. And, so with today being Every Second Matters, did anyone do anything for Every Second Matters? Foss?
Not really. After I got home this morning, I haven't been out, so.
Mr. Chris, you do anything for Every Second Matters?
Yeah, I edited probably 3 gun videos today, and then went on a hunt to find 22 mag and finally found some.
That's always good when you find what you're looking for.
Yeah, because I sure couldn't find it yesterday.
Mr. Rob D, you do anything for Every Second Matters?
I've been thinking about this. Not really. I guess you can state I told people about it and some ideas of how to spread the word about it just earlier, if anybody recalls or seen that. But other than that, no. Haven't spoke to any strangers or anything like that, or got to strike up any conversations other than online.
That counts, I mean, we're still out there, promoting and, trying to get the message of the Second Amendment out to anyone who's willing to listen. So the wife and I were out and about today, and she was sporting her black and white tie-dye Every Second Matters t-shirt and had the blue and black Every Second Matters patch on. So we talked with one of the girls at the coffee stand where we get our coffee and explained, on the 2nd of each month, we try to bring up 2A conversations and equate the 2nd of the month to the Second Amendment. So we have had Lee from Thoughts of an Old Soldier join us. So welcome, GGW Reloading. What a great guy. Man, I guarantee you he's on some list with the post office. Because that box he sent me of projectiles, literally that thing had to weigh like 45 pounds. I mean, it was heavy as hell. Andy 79Z28 is out there. Tactical FUD. The Gun Snob. And LW Rhodes has jumped in. And Artax asked if he got kicked out again. There's a link out to G-Webs and to, I think, Kingpin. And so if they don't show up here pretty soon, I will send you a link. But unfortunately, I don't
Trying
pay
to say
first.
he's second choice, second best. Is that what you're saying? Does this sound familiar here, Chris?
Yeah, it's all right, Artac. I was second choice today too, man.
Somebody's got to
man,
write
you were
mine.
second.
Yep. You know, you always got to have a bench warmer ready to come on.
Make sure you're stretching.
So GGW says he went to his LGS today. So yeah, you know, getting out there, talking Second Amendment, talking firearms. Always is a good day.
Harold Farmer wanted to know if I have any primers here. Not here locally, but we only have one store that sells reloading stuff. So I got to drive about an hour to get primers, but I can get primers every day if I want to, if I want to drive to get them, but I got to buy them in limited quantities too. I can't just go buy what I want. I like that patch.
The Artac and Daughters.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know, I've got an envelope from him. I probably should do an unboxing. I've had it for a couple days.
Just send that to me.
Talking about unboxing, so I got a package today from CloverTac. And I was like, I'll just do like a 1 minute short, throw it up on YouTube. Man, I opened up that envelope and there's 50 things in there. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna happen. We're just gonna make a full blown video on this. So, man, he doesn't, because I've ordered stuff from him before and I get like 20 times over what I ordered. So he's a cool dude, man. It's pretty awesome what he does. He always sends me a lot of extra stuff.
Welcome, G-Webs.
What's going on, G-Webs?
Good afternoon, good evening. I guess, it's evening for some of y'all. Good afternoon for the rest of you. Thanks for the link.
You're welcome. So I figure we're doing the Every Second Matters edition because luckily it fell on a Saturday, so which is kind of not very often does it fall on Saturdays.
No, it's totally random, which is kind of neat about doing it on the second. But yeah, it's been like months and months and months since it's been on a Saturday. I only know because nobody shows up during the weekday ones usually. So if people are going to show up, they usually show up on a weekend one. Although there's a big gun show this weekend, so that's probably not helping nothing.
Yeah, you know, that Wanamaker is out there. So did you get out and do anything for Every Second Matters?
Me?
Yep.
I just did my last chat and then not really. That was it. I just did that today. I went shopping. Does that count? I bought dog food for the Second Amendment. My dog's super 2A, so she eats that dog food.
Right. She's got to keep up her strength. Yeah, so we went to a coffee shop and ended up having a conversation with one of the girls at the coffee shop about, you know, Every Second Matters and, you know, it being the second of the month. So
how did that conversation go?
she was pretty receptive, and she, you know, a lot of the, so where I live is really, really a conservative area, even though it's a pretty liberal state in the aspect of like the voting, but that's just because it's pretty much controlled by 3 towns that control the entire state. like
Mhm.
most states. But yeah, there's one of the car dealerships around here that a couple times a year they run a buy a car, get a gun. So
What kind of car? What kind of gun?
whatever car they have on the lot and whatever gun you want from Waldron's, they give you a gift card for I think it's up to $500 or something.
You got guns at Walgreens up there?
Waldron's. Yep. There's a nice outdoor sports. Look at that, glowing in the dark.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
That's the blue and the white letters, huh?
Yes.
Yep, that's the one I sent to Chris and to She Fires. So I see we got G.I. Joel out in the crowd and MCK has joined us. So let's I know we probably discussed a lot of this stuff before, but let's see if we can get some fresh eyes on maybe finding ways to bring up talking about the Second Amendment and ways to promote firearm ownership.
Can I go first? Because I got a alternative like attitude about that because I've been doing this for a while. So I don't think you can teach people or tell people what to do or whatever, right? You know, you can lead a horse to water kind of thing. So my answer to that kind of question, like how to get people or how to talk to about it and stuff, is I feel like the best thing I can do is be prepared to talk about it. And then when other people bring it up or start doing something crazy, I can contribute. But and I might be wrong, so I'm willing to listen to other positions on it. But I don't like to just go up to people and start talking about guns or the Second Amendment. Not because I'm afraid to, because I just don't want the impression to be that like I'm a evangelist and that's my sole issue. I got some other motive or some other thing. So when somebody will come up and say something completely wrong, and not just in a gun conversation, but like, you know, just regular store or something, and there's something completely wrong being said, I like to have items in my inventory that I can put out there, but not necessarily to challenge. But I'm going to just mention like this work of the last couple of years and like being aware of the spectrum of stuff that's going on to protect our rights. I find it like almost an interesting puzzle or challenge to have answers to some of the common platitudes that the antis will throw out there, or more often the regurgitated, like, you know, oh, I remember what I heard on TV, so I'm just going to say that. That stuff gets brought up. And if you can throw something at them that they're not expecting and then walk away or, you know, end the conversation, so you're not like, I'm going to drive this into the ground, or I'm going to bring it up and then I'm going to be right. You know what I mean? Like that gotcha kind of thing. I try to go like, I'd rather just end it with a question so that they think, oh, I better go research that. Because I feel like if they go research it, they're going to find better answers or the truth ideally. So that's sort of my answer, non-answer. Like my goal over the last years has been to be prepared to address the situation accurately, but I don't really bring it up. In fact, I don't bring it up unless I just say.
That's a good way of going about it. Rob, you got any opinion on it?
Sure. I like G's idea of not just running around approaching people out the blue, handing flyers out, you know, being that guy. I think people get nervous and instantly standoffish, usually in those situations. You know, at least from my experience, maybe different in your location, but basically, I like the idea of a hat, of a shirt, something along those lines, something that says something without really saying it. And then I found myself in conversations waiting in line at Home Depot, Lowe's, grocery store, or out the blue, somebody will just be like, I like the shirt, or this or that, or, and sometimes we'll stop, have a conversation, or, you get that kind of instant anti, like, is that a gun shirt? Like, or whatever. And you can have a conversation with that too. I think, being mentally prepared is probably a good portion of it. Cause if you're going to be a representative, at least make sense. And, sometimes, end of your shift or whatever, you might not be on top of your game, but at least definitely think about what you say and how it could be interpreted. But I like the ideas of some type of visual advertisement. Not stating advertisement, it could be anything, not necessarily a brand or logo, but something, it's kind of why I like some of the shirts I have with, it's literally printed camo top to bottom with different firearms. Some people look at me like I'm crazy. Some people are, giving me thumbs up as I walk by or whatever. So, but things like that, I think, can strike up a conversation. Obviously, be cautious where, you may not want to wear something like that to work, depending where you work or things like this. But I usually, unless it's a repeat customer I know well, I won't wear a shirt like that to deal with a new customer usually. Just because in my area, half, if not more, would want me locked up or something, unfortunately. So, and they probably wouldn't want me armed in their house, or I'd have to go through a bunch of hoops. Although there's other customers that, it would shock you what they had in their house, and you'd never know it unless they told you. So, but that's going down different roads. But I like G's idea, except, not pressing it on people. Nobody, wants a Bible pusher or this or that or whatever, running up on them all the time or something. But natural seems to be the best way. And, something that gotcha stuff like he's stating too. I think some people that kind of turns them off, but, stating something in a question form is probably a good way of going about it. So can't state I do that every time. It all depends on the conversation. It's always natural, but visual simulation, I think, is good. Long story short, sorry.
So we got Miss Gunpowder Beauty who's jumped in, and Michael Hurtneck, Bald and Curious. So what are we looking at? Ring of Fire?
Me? No, I was just putting them away, and this fell out of the safe at me, so I'm guessing it wanted to be on TV.
Right?
This is my 1911 that got found in the deserts of southern Arizona, somewhere between Fort Echuca and Mexico, and then now I own it. So it's completely rusted together, no barrel. People were able to get the guts out of it, I guess.
Huh.
It says U.S. Army on it, property of U.S. Army. Anyway,
Awesome.
don't tell.
That's
Put it away
freaking
again.
cool.
Yeah, I like the visual aspect, shirts, hats, something like that, they could just have a nice little slogan on there, even the Every Second Matters, or the wife's got another shirt that says "Thou shalt not infringe on my rights." And it's brought up some conversations when I got to pick up the wife from the hospital. I took that shirt so that she'd have that as she got out of the hospital, and one of the nurses was like, "What's that shirt say?" And I was like, "It says thou shalt not infringe on my rights." And so we, had a little conversation in the hospital as we were getting ready to leave. So, Chris, since you're probably the newest to the 2A channels, what's your thoughts?
See, with me, like, I live in a fairly conservative area here where I'm at. So, like, I wear at least a hat every day to work. with some gun manufacturer, optics manufacturer, reloading hat or something. I got stickers all over the back of my work truck. So every now and then, I mean, I get a customer who's walking out to their mailbox to get the mail, and they come back and they see the stickers on my truck. And if they don't like guns, 9 times out of 10, they're just not going to say anything to you. But if they're, but I've had customers who have come up to me and be like, well, I'm thinking about buying my first gun. And I saw the stickers on your truck, and I think you'd be the guy to talk to. I mean, I push a lot of my content everywhere, every day. I mean, I've got, I don't know, 1,600 friends on Facebook. I post a lot of links to my YouTube channels, other people's YouTube channels. And I got a lot of liberal friends on Facebook, got a lot of liberal followers on Instagram. And the thing with those people, like, especially like Instagram, you can always tell, like if I put a picture up of me holding my dog, everybody likes the picture. But if I put a picture up of me at the gun range, none of my liberal friends are going to like that picture. But one thing that I've noticed when this whole pandemic started and everything was there was a lot of liberal mindset starting to switch. And now I have a lot of those friends reaching out to me saying, oh, I'm thinking about getting my concealed carry license, thinking about buying my first handgun. I don't feel safe in my home anymore without a gun. And I'm just willing to help those people out. Like, I don't go back at them and say, well, you didn't like anything I put out for 2 years. And, now you're wanting something. I don't do that to them. I try to be as helpful as I can and steer them in the right direction. So, I get what Rob's saying too. Like, depending on the area you live, you might not want. I don't have that issue here. I mean, I can wear a gun, and I pretty much do every day. I wear something gun related. I'm always trying to, everything outside of work that I do, hobby wise, is it all revolves around firearms and reloading and competition shooting. So it's pretty much the biggest part of my life. So if people want to talk about it, I'm more than willing to talk with them about it and try to steer them in that direction. It's kind of my take on it.
Oh, I didn't realize that my mic was muted. Wasn't muted. Can I throw in there that that's awesome, dude? I was just, as you were saying that, things change. So if we would have had this conversation at the beginning of Every Second Matters in 2013, it would have been, still relevant, but because of that, whatever, millions of new gun owners over the last couple of years, if you and others like you that have not hidden the fact that you're a gun owner, even though you can be persecuted for the fact of being a gun owner, but you're wearing a gun shirt or whatever, just letting people know your hobby and not being afraid of it, means that was you're their ambassador, their introduction to a gun owner, because they don't know what that is. And since you're willing, and you and people like you are willing to not be like, I told you so, go away, then right away, like, that's the kind of stuff you set the ground a long time ago, and now you're, sowing the seeds? Or no, wait, how it works, you're gathering the results of those seeds that you sowed a long time ago. And I don't think people realize that's what Every Second Matters is all about. That is Second Amendment advocacy. Any individual standing up with fame and fortune and a big soapbox, they motivate people who are already motivated. They just maybe give people some insight, but the actual work is 100 people having 1,000,000 conversations with friends and family who on their own have woke up. At least that's how I see it. So that's the best thing somebody can do for Every Second Matters, in my opinion, is just be willing to be open with this part of our lives with people who aren't hanging out and wanting to talk about it constantly.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's my take on it. I had a guy reach out to me a couple of weeks ago. I would have never in a million years thought this guy would want to buy a gun, but people are starting to see what's going on around them, and they want to protect themselves. So, and hopefully there's hundreds of more people just like him reaching out to somebody else.
So we've got the gun snob out there who said he just bought the first gun that he had ever had today, but he didn't say what it was. So probably going to be another High Point We've got PNW Woods out there in the crowd, and Jet 001. Carolina EDC is out there, and Bald says he doesn't own guns because they scare him.
Yep.
You
That's a
know,
good point.
it is a Yorker thing.
I had to rent a dumpster for a job a while back, and went in, talked to the guy, and for this, Squib's not here, so don't matter, but I like using cash. It's hard to find somebody with a dumpster that's you're not throwing it on a card. So I don't mind prepaying a certain amount, all this type of stuff. Needless to say, shopped around, got the best place in town price, and the guy was willing to take cash. So I went down to, make a deposit, this and that, and noticed the guy had a shotgun in the corner. So ended up bringing it up, and as soon as I did, he got defensive and stood between me and it like instantly. so I don't blame him, I guess, but I don't know if he should be that freaked out. But needless to state, he didn't seem like a gun guy, but yet he still saw the value of having a gun in his office. So hopefully, I'm hoping like the next time I go see him or whatnot, I can talk to him a little more, because I tried to talk to him a bit, but he basically came out and pretty much said he's not a gun guy, you know what I mean, and this and that. So, but yet he still sees the value of keeping one in his office. So, what does that really say? So I don't know, maybe little by little, you know what I mean, and everything that's happened nowadays, more recently, maybe he'll be a little more talkative next time. So I'm hoping, we'll see. But I think it's kind of ironic, which I don't know if anybody else has seen something similar, but hopefully those people come around, because they can already see the value. It's just, is it something everybody should have that value, or just you? Are you that special? So
When you said that, it made me think of like you gave him something too, because he either inadvertently or intentionally has that thing in public display, and that's pretty stupid tactic strategy, right? Like you might think you're brandishing or something, I guess, but obviously that's not the way to go. So by just making that and giving him that, like, oh, I never thought about that, and I don't know who this guy is, so I'm going to stand here, like, which is probably a smart move because he didn't know who you were, right? But then now that he's got that, okay, and that was like probably the best way of bringing it up, right? Because it wasn't like, I'm afraid of that shotgun, or some like clutching your pearls and like, I'm never coming back here again. Like that would have been bad. So in this case, you made him aware of something, and now you're like, you've made the introduction as a gun owner. Like you say, time goes on, you go back there, and he might be like, I'm putting my shotgun away. And then he's thinking to himself, maybe, like, is that shotgun going to still be useful for me? Like, maybe, what do I do? Who am I going to ask? And now he's going to go through his Rolodex, because if he isn't a gun guy and he just bought a shotgun, right, like a lot of people are allowed to do, he's going to run through his Rolodex and go, I don't know any gun people, but maybe when that guy comes back to get a dumpster, maybe I could talk to him about it. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think you did 2 or 3 different good things for that guy, potentially.
Yeah, quite possible. I felt like I was in his personal space in his office. So I'm assuming most people just pay over the phone. I'd be willing to bet. But like I said, I like cash. So, and I'm sure the guy will remember me because the bill came over. What was it? Cedar shake was hiding underneath my bottom layer or something. Needless to state, I was over a bit. So, as soon as it was picked up, man, I had like 3 messages on my phone. I think the guy was freaking out, and I got home, changed, ran right down, and he was so happy I showed up to pay him. So I know the guy will remember me. But yeah, so hopefully, I think like basically my point was, I think it was like a private space to him, so it probably did take him by shock, because I assume most new customers or the average customer is never in his office like that to begin with. So he probably did feel kind of, I don't know, a certain way, I guess you can state.
I probably would have said something too, just to make sure he wasn't weird. Like, well, you got that shotgun next to you in this room. What did you invite me in this room with a shotgun for, guy? What's up with this? Are we talking about that shotgun? Or are you trying to, what's going on?
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that. I mean, I don't see, I don't see a gun and get threatened or whatever. I think it's a smart move, honestly. So his facility's kind of behind some, you know, huge buildings. It's, you know, it's dark. You're cutting through little alleyways to get in the place. It's pretty secluded. You know, it's not a you know, upfront public type place, I guess you could say. So I think it's probably smart on his part. But so, you know, again, I wasn't threatened, but it was I just found it interesting because it was a single shot. It was a break open single shot shotgun. So but the guy wasn't into hunting. It almost had like the black kind of, not tactical, but I don't know, plain finish. Didn't look like a hunting gun, basically, but it didn't look like a tactical gun. It was all black. So maybe tactical-ish single shot, if that's a thing. I don't know, but
So
I don't know.
we've got Mario who's jumped out in the crowd. Mike's out there. Andy Z29 or Andy 79Z28 223 DMR. So welcome, guys. Mr. Foss, any thoughts from you?
No.
So we brought the bench warmer in. We brought the AAA up to the pros.
That's messed up, man.
Artak and daughter, what's up?
He's just pissy because of the note I added into his package.
I still haven't even read it, so I haven't even opened it. So you're telling me way more and more, and I still haven't actually opened it. I told you I'm going to open it on camera.
Yeah, I know.
What the hell? I thought I was a guy with, I thought I was the only one getting a special note. What is this crap? You got a special note too?
I sent everybody a special note.
Yeah, but Rob, did he send you $100 also?
No.
Oh, was I not supposed to say that?
Yeah, you weren't supposed to say that.
Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in peso, so it's not like Rob could spend it anyway.
So we got Vash Matrix out there. So ideas on talking about the Second Amendment, you know, how to bring that conversation up, maybe subtly or however, you know.
I discussed it today with the guys at work. So there's a couple of them that's thinking about, or well, one of them's thinking about getting one, and the other one's own them. So, and the other two are just youngins, so they can't own a pistol yet. But yeah, I bring it up at work, or especially since we're open carry here, and in a minute there, Emmett, and so when somebody comes into the shop or something or the store and they're carrying, I always bring it up. Hey, what type of pistol you got there? Blah blah blah. This, and start a conversation that way.
Do you do anything for Every Second Matters?
Yeah, drag all the people in there to work, talk about guns.
He posted some pictures on Instagram.
Yeah, I did Instagram, and I did one on a community page on YouTube.
Yeah, for some reason they don't always show the community tab up, so
I seen it. Guns in a safe with a patch.
Mike has joined us out there. Vash says Ukraine is a way to bring up people being armed. You can ask if it makes them rethink their position on the 2A. I mean, it is a topic that is relevant right now, you know, with what's going on in the Ukraine.
I think that's risky, though, because, I mean, that's pushing politics, and there's a lot of different information about that. A lot of people would probably want to sit on the fence with something like that. So, I don't know. not trying to discredit. I mean, anything that works, maybe that would work. But I think that might backfire with a lot of people. Personally, in my opinion, not stating a lot of people are against it or anything, but a lot of people just may not want to speak on something like that.
You got a good point, because the Ukraine itself is a double-edged sword. It's kind of like rooting for the turd sandwich and the giant douche between the two of them. They're about the same, just on different sides of the political spectrum. That's why I stay out of it.
Maybe, I don't know, a more personalized example, but then, again, it's, maybe not the best way to handle it, but it seems people pay attention when things hit home. Could you defend your daughter against me, or me and this guy behind me? You know what I mean, in the parking lot. Don't scare the shit out of the lady, get red flagged and have the cops, on you. But you know what I mean? Like, in a question like that might actually make somebody think, those couple classes you took might not cut it,
So P&W Woods brings up, I try to talk about the entire Bill of Rights, and yeah, because then it doesn't seem like so centrally focused on one specific thing. I mean, I could see how that would work also.
Probably a good move in a sense. It's kind of my standing. I'm freedom type guy, so sometimes that's a clash even within our community. But I think a lot of people probably don't know the basics or whatever, or understand them or see them that way. They're just used to the normal. If somebody tells you this is what's right, they're just going to assume that's what it is. So, but yeah, people do have the right, but that could turn out to be a long conversation as well. And you may be looked at it a way. So, but I guess any way you go about it, you may be looked at it a way. So, yeah, so be it, I guess.
So
I got a sneak peek of that gun today.
Congrats, Brian. He says, brought a new addition home today, and the wife asked if it was an assault rifle. Yes, it's an AR, but it's not an assault. Is she left? Yep. And the media fed. Small discussion ensued. Yeah, because, I mean, an assault is an action, and an inanimate object cannot commit an action.
It's not a salad.
And neither is what Rob D is showing. He's showing a Snickers.
That's what I was saying.
thought that said
it's not a
suckers.
salad.
Ice cream bar, Snickers.
So, I actually have a gigantic salad.
What's going on, wheeled and well armed?
So, Mike White says his wife is somewhat the same. Too much CNN.
My
So
mom's like that. Drives me nuts. It's like every time we end up with the same conversations. Like, it's brainwashing, the politics and some of this stuff. And yeah, I can lead her to the proper things, but I have to bait her and lead her along, in some cases. So kind of like what G's saying with the questioning and stuff. If I hit her with that, we get back on the same page by the time she goes home. Next time she comes over, it's almost the same crap over again.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, man, it's a damn TV. It's just kills me.
It's all of them too. I mean, that stuff just.
Yeah,
People,
I mean, it's
people
kind of
can't think
like
for themselves. They gotta look to that.
It's like that elevator music or something. You hear it so much. I mean, that might be a bad example. Or the song on the radio, you can't stand it. You hear it so much, you know it word for word. Subconsciously, you know it, whether it's, true or not. So if you get asked right away, you might know the lyrics, So it's just, I don't know. It's bad stuff, though. That's all I got to say. All these damn TV shows and crap that are opinion pieces, but make you believe it's all factual and all that.
So welcome, Wheeled and Well Armed, Michael Dunn, and Gunmetal Guy USA. Gunmetal says the TV and cell phones is the replacement for the Apple and the Serpent. 100% fact. So.
Yeah, used to be called programs for a reason.
Yeah. That is true.
Just point out, my mom's not anti-gun though, so it's actually the first trigger I ever pulled was thanks to her. So, and the first gun I got to, I don't want to say play with, but was hers on a regular basis. So, she wanted me to be able to shoot at a young age. So she's not anti-gun, but she's getting older and too much damn TV.
So we got Tread out there. I would be running the camera, except horrible lighting, so it looks like I'm in witness protection, and everyone starts making fun of it.
What do
So
you got
9
there,
mil,
G?
9
G
mil
Webb,
from
sorry.
China.
This is where all 9mm comes from, doesn't it?
I thought so.
That night
Look at
strike
how-
ammo.
Have you ever seen this stuff? This is what it looked like back in the days when I started to hate 9mm. Look at this goofy packaging. I guess I shouldn't do that. It's got a clear lid with tape, scotch tape on it. I didn't put that on there. And then it's like
Says
vacuum
China
pump
right
filler.
on the box.
Oh, it's definitely China. This is made in China. Like, this is Naruto.
Well, what do you expect?
This is from
I'm just messing with
probably for what, the Tokrobs, or I don't think they made Macrops in 9. Well, they must have made one. They made something in 9 and sent them over here.
I
don't
always
think we
forget
had the-
G Webbs hates 9mm too.
Oh, I've always hated 9. See, you're probably, how long you been shooting?
Who, me?
Yeah.
35, 36 years
Yeah.
probably.
All right. So you remember when it was like, the Smith & Wesson aluminum frames were like, what do you mean an aluminum frame? Like, well, no, hold on there. And then they came in with the plastic guns and it was like, hold on, we didn't even agree to the aluminum frames. And now you're giving us plastic frame? Like, people couldn't deal with it. And this garbage, this was the 9mm. This was our first 9mm. I mean, this wasn't me personally. I didn't shoot no 9mm when I was a kid, but I knew that when 9mm was hitting the scene, it was like, we don't want this. This is old military ammo. It's ball ammo for one. It's stupid primers. It's garbage, right? It's made for mass production. It's made to wound, and nobody wanted it for anything. It wasn't accurate. It wasn't good. You couldn't reload it. It's steel cased. The stuff from Europe wasn't steel cased, but still, it took a while before 9mm was even a thing. I guess it took till 1994 till the state police in Illinois took a 9mm in. Was that, or was it 84? I forget. I was just doing the tactical quiz stuff, so I remember reading that the Illinois State Police was the first ones to even take a semi-auto. And then people were like, well, if the police use it, maybe I'll pay attention to it. And then it took years before anybody was like, all right, 9mm is okay. And then all these kids came to the scene after the assault weapons ban ended and were like, what is there? Oh, there's 9mm? No problem. Let me just take that Nazi ammo and run with it. Just because Glocks use it? Come on. Like, I grew up hating 9mm, and that's personally one of the things I'll never, even reloading it, it's like tiny and it's little and it's long. It's not like a 45 or a 44 or something that's fun to reload. It's pesky and I don't like it. People dig it, but everybody I know that digs it is because they got a gun, what they wanted capacity. And there's nothing really smaller diameter than 30, right? Than 9. And then, so they stuck with it, and then they improved the ballistics on it so that it's adequate. It's not good. It's just adequate. So people are like, I'll settle for 9. And nobody will admit that, but that's what they did, because 357, 45, that's done. Like, that solved the world wars. It ended crime. So this was like, oh, I want capacity because I perceive that I need capacity, and this is the most capacity I can get practically. And since everybody else uses it, I'll settle. So this is not quite where it originated, but there's my rant on 9mm. But I'd found this again. I was in there.
Come on,
putting
man.
this
Tell us the
away and
truth.
this-
The Kratom 9mm fell on you one time, didn't it?
No, I just told you. I grew up 357, 45, and then this was pushed on us, and then everyone was like, all right. And then it was like, I guess if you make it good enough. And now all the kids are just like, I'll take whatever I'm told. Like, I'll take whatever's first on the shelf.
What about us poors? I mean, 9mm has a place, get the job done.
Everything's cheaper than 9mm. Like 38, 357, 45, 44.
No, 9's like the cheapest in my area. Even like 38's the same price as 9.
Only
Here,
now because of government supplements, subsidies.
Oh,
like, if they weren't subsidizing in the horrible working conditions in the 9mm factories, if that wasn't the case, then it would cost the same. But they're getting subsidies from bad countries. Whatever the bad countries are, they're the ones subsidizing 9mm.
It's all part of the new world order.
Yeah, exactly.
To make everybody convert to 9.
Amen.
You will own 9 and you will love it.
I like 9. I don't know.
All right, I'll go put this thing away so it quits bothering everybody.
Yeah, I was getting triggered, offended. Somebody owes me an island now. How dare he speak of 9mm like that?
I like all the rounds he was talking about, but I like 9 too. I like them all.
Epstein's Island's up for sale. You could take that one.
It's probably not a bad island, but it needs to be cleared out of everyone first.
You could always rename it and call it Fantasy Island. Your national sport could be hangman.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be happy with a nice tropical island now. That would be it'd be nice.
There you go. Gunmetal says what G Webbs is describing as the same mob mentality that hates on 40 Smith & Wesson after all the cool kids said it wasn't cool anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And 40's not the perfect caliber because Browning didn't invent it, but Browning didn't not invent it. He just didn't get around to inventing it.
That was because he was dead.
Yeah, he just
That's his
didn't
only
do another
excuse.
thing.
Well, it's kind of an offshoot of Cooper, so it's got something going for it.
It's like they took the metric better version and said, how can we remove the metric part of it and still have the diameter?
What do you guys think happened to DB Cooper?
There's actually a neat documentary thing I saw that has literally it's like a real documentary, like a full scale movie, and it proves 3 different people are DB Cooper. And I don't mean like you watch it and it's like one, then the other, then the other, and it's like indisputable. Oh, it has to be this guy. And then you watch the next thing, it's like, oh, it has to be this person. And then you watch the next one, you're like, well, wait a minute, it has to be this person. So really crazy. Like the one guy, years later, he goes with his wife. They stop on the side of the road. He pulls off. He comes back a little while later with a ton of money that's all wet. And he knew exactly where to pull off and go get the money years later. Like, that's the only one I can remember. The other ones were also like somebody who knew all about it and all the circumstances fit. And you walk away from that presentation like it's got to be this person. I forget what the name of the movie is, but it was maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Where he jumped out of the airplane was about, or is just south of where I live.
Oh my God! And you haven't been looking for the money? I would be hiking that whole area, man.
I
I
did
know some was
see
recovered,
many years ago. I
but
saw it was about a 60, was it like a 67 Firebird with a license plate that said DB Cooper. Might have been him.
well, you guys think he survived it? I think
He
he
was a
did. But what do you guys
he
think?
was a well, one of them was a trained military
Yeah,
diver who had done many a
but
night jumps, and the chute that was picked was like at the time the best for that situation, and he knew like everything about that plane. So, oh yeah, he knew, and he picked where he was going to jump from.
If it wasn't for the
yeah,
storm or the trees, I would say he probably survived, but I don't. I think he got washed. I think he died and was washed out to sea.
I don't know, because there was a documentary on TV that showed like where he threw the bag of money out, and then where they say he actually jumped, was actually uh, southeastern Oregon or northern Nevada is where he would have landed if he would have jumped, and he could have easily made that hike back. And in that area is like a lot of desert, so he could have survived if he jumped where they think he jumped. But no one truly knows exactly where he jumped out because of it being at night and stuff like that.
it was like a 10-minute window or 15-minute window. I guess they supposedly counted down from the stewardess or something that he was speaking to, or he disappeared down into the back or whatever. So they state, any time within that time period, obviously, covers quite a bit of distance. So yeah, I don't know. I think he definitely could have made it. I don't know if he made it back to get the money. How that all worked out, because I was in the impression it was a couple bags. So
Well, G23 is just rooting for him because his name was Dan.
yeah,
I thought the
I don't
mystery
know.
was solved already. Didn't you hear about?
I
how
don't
it was
think so.
solved?
I
Yeah,
think
it's
they
solved.
use that as part of the excuse for TSA, which I don't agree to. I'd rather take my chances without it. But
not only did he make it, he became a successful businessman. He was when he jumped out of the plane, he was captured by Sasquatch, and then that's where later on him and Sasquatch came up with Jack Links.
you never know.
Chris, I got the barrel off of eBay. Some or gun shop was selling it.
All right. Yeah, I want to get one. I want to get one from my Glock 22.
But it was an M&P barrel, so for a Gen 1, and I have a Gen 1 40, so I got it and fell right in place.
Yeah, I
What
never
do you want? You want a conversion barrel for your 40 to 357 SIG?
Yeah, I already got it.
No, I was talking about to Chris.
Oh.
Yeah, because I already got. That's a gun that I keep inside my MCK brace kit, and I have the 9mm conversion barrel for it. I got the 40 barrel, and then I want to get the 357 SIG barrel for it.
You can get it off of the Glock store.
Okay. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to. I think that'd be a fun round to reload too.
And you can get the 22 LR conversion kit.
I don't need that. I got enough 22s, but I think
saying.
a 357 SIG would be fun.
Yeah, considering you have all those rounds in zinc,
Mm-hmm.
you could take a 40
Right, I
case
forgot about that.
and neck it down to 357 and make a 357 SIG round.
Yep.
What's the deal with zinc? Is it better, or is it just cheaper? Or is it more obtainable, or what's the deal with zinc?
No, Andy, that's out in the side chat, Andy79Z28. He sent me a bunch of zinc bullets. It's kind of I don't know, Andy, and there hasn't been too many guys that have started casting it, and he just sent me a bunch to test on my channel. He sent me 9mm bullets, and then the bullets that I can use for 357 SIG. And then he sent me two different weights of 30 cal bullets for 300 blackout, which is what I'll use them for. You could use them for anything, but I've just been playing around with it. But there's no reloading data or anything out there for it. But the main reason a lot of people are doing it is where they live in states that don't like lead, where lead's getting a lot harder for them to get, and it's getting more expensive. They're switching to zinc. That's pretty much why they're doing it.
Like California and New York.
But it's a different ammo to reload because it weighs 40% less than lead. So
okay.
It opens up a whole new thing when you're doing your powder charges. You got to be careful with it.
So basically, with less density, the projectiles either have to be really big, which gives you less room to seat and have powder, or you got to use way less powder, which means you got on a semi-auto, you got to worry about operation of the action and dwell and timing and that kind of stuff. And then just in reality, ballistics wise, if you don't put enough powder in there, it's not consistent anymore, right? It just starts to spin it off wherever it feels like.
Right. So like the bullets he sent me were actually cast with a 147 grain mold, but the bullet only weighs 90 grains. So you have to use 90 grain powder charges, but the bullet is still the exact same length and diameter as a 147 grain.
Oh, okay. So it's not like super crazy to adapt to it. You just have to be a little bit like off step or something.
No, and it's fast. Man, it's fast.
Andy says zinc is good stuff. Cast, size, and shoot. No powder coat, no lube. So,
and it cleans your barrel out for you.
And we've got
because it's softer or harder?
It's real hard. Yeah, a lot harder.
We've got
man,
out in the crowd.
I'll stop.
Rob likes the hard stuff.
I already knew where he was going.
Lube, harder.
And I even thought after it came out of my mouth, I was like, that didn't even sound good.
It's early. We won't get there.
What's going on, AAF? Good to see you.
Yeah, I mean that zinc really seems interesting. So
it's been fun. I got to get this 300 blackout going. I just had so much other stuff to do here, video wise, but because I want to be able to sit down and take my time with it.
So zinc is softer than jacketed bullets, but zinc is a natural lubricant.
Oh, so it's harder than lead, but it's softer than copper.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So it probably doesn't wear out your barrel any as fast as like copper fouling or leading, because it doesn't do that.
Are you restricted to certain calibers where you have that ability to change powder, or is it like not work in some of the narrow ones or some of the big fat ones or something?
So you could theoretically cast zinc for any caliber that you can cast lead bullets for. So if you wanted to cast lead bullets for, 45, you could get a 45 mold. And then you could also, as long as I believe it has to be a steel mold, not an aluminum mold because of the temperature you have to bring the zinc up to. So then you could then cast zinc instead of casting lead and make 45 caliber projectiles, 50 caliber projectiles, 40 Smith & Wesson, 357, whatever you want, as long as you have the mold for it.
Yeah, I can't remember what my top speed was on the. Can't remember if my fastest round was 1592 out of that.
I thought you had one that. I thought you had
16
one that broke 1600.
Yeah, I can't remember if I had one that went 1592 or 1692.
It looks like lead, right? It just looks like raw lead.
So, Rob, are you jumping off the panel or are you just stepping away from your phone for a while?
Huh? Neither at the moment.
Because I just saw what you put in the private chat.
Oh yeah, no, I was just bullshitting with Artac there. So.
Oh.
And as usual, had a typo, so I had to put in later to correct myself. So that's not. I didn't mean like peace. I'm out of here. So.
Yeah, that's how I read it too. Like later, see ya.
Sorry.
You mean like later on, I got to do that.
I know. I thought the woman was cracking the whip. Getting ready to put the smack down on your ass, making you get ready to go do the dishes.
No,
she's supposed to whip him for him to get the patches.
It is my day.
So that zinc, does it look just like raw lead? Like it just looks like metal?
Do you have any of the zinc bullets right there?
Do I know? I mean, I can go get some.
But I mean, it looks like lead, right? I'm just curious. It just looks just like raw lead.
Yeah, it looks a little shinier, I think. Than
it's got a little bit more of a sheen to it, I'd say.
Okay.
So I guess you can cast with aluminum molds, but the steel is better. They're probably less warpage. See,
I've asked this before. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Never mind.
Go, Rob.
All right. It's probably a dumb question. I've asked this before, but does aluminum frame just sound like a bad idea to anybody? Like for like long term pass me down guns? Last time I think I asked this, people said not really. But I don't know. I just figure I'll ask more people because I've come across like aluminum, shock or strut towers, the little plates on top, like aluminum parts that just basically turn to dust after 10, 12 years in elements. So I realize firearms aren't outside in elements 10, 12 years, but is that something you really want to invest in like that? Sorry,
they use aircraft aluminum. So from what I understand is aluminum is often extruded. So, if they extrude it under pressure and heat, it comes out a lot more crystallized and strong than, that's why there's different kinds of aluminum. But I think I'm 100% with you. They wear funny, and you don't just weld aluminum back. When it bends, it's brittle and it snaps. So I know a lot of people dig it, but I'm not like you said, for long term, like I want this gun to last forever. We know metal lasts forever. Name an aluminum thing that's super old.
All right. I'm glad I'm not the only one that kind of sees it that way, that at least cautious of it.
I'm okay with the guns. I'm not saying they're bad guns. I just, for like long term, I'm going to hand this gun down. I'm not going to hand down an aluminum frame anything.
Well, so
ARs are made out of aluminum.
They are, and good ones are made out of good aluminum, but they don't.
And then hopefully your aluminum frame guns are made out of aircraft grade aluminum.
But a pistol gets all its rails, get all of its abuse, and they didn't redevelop. Some of them did. Like whoever did this, somebody put the rails on the inside, but nobody really redesigned Browning's idea of having steel rails, except they made them out of aluminum. Glock has plastic rails that jump up out of the plastic because you can't make rails out of plastic, right? Like there was that barrier. But ARs don't put almost any stress at all on the receiver. AR receivers only get stress from being beaten around as items they have to carry. But when they shoot, steel and steel pins are all the things that shear and touch. You know what I'm saying? So like they came from aircraft and knew what the characteristics and what of aluminum could do. So when they made the AR-15, they were aircraft people working with the materials they knew, and they built the AR-15 specifically to not rely on the aluminum. So I hear what you're saying, but the AR aluminum is just to hold the steel pins all in the places they need to be, where on a pistol, it's those rails that bother me. And that steel slide is whamming around on those aluminum rails. And you bend those, you twist them, you torque them, you warp them. Goodbye, you got to get another gun. So especially when we have options like that SIG chassis thing. I don't love SIG. I mean, I don't have a problem with SIG really, but that chassis idea where the guts are the serialized part, and then you put on whatever chassis, whatever frame you want. I'm digging that concept because then people could like plastic or like steel or like aluminum or like whatever the next material is, carbon steel or something, carbon fiber. And we're not limited because now the guts are the serialized part.
Yep.
That's a good point with that.
I just
So
sent back an ATI AR lower receiver where the rear pin was oblong.
We have been joined.
They got ovaled.
It's oval. Yep.
Yeah, that does happen. You're right. And on full autos, it'll happen for sure, but it'll happen on others too.
We have been joined out in the crowd by Mr. Sandhill Media. So welcome.
Well,
Thanks for stopping by and giving us a thumbs up.
Hey, Meta Tupperware asked me a question about 20 minutes ago, and I meant to answer it, and then I got sidetracked. But he asked me how much gas was where I'm at. It is $4.09 a gallon here right now.
$4.59 in Arizona and Tucson.
I think Foss and I both have the same kind of mentality. You're going to get the gas anyway, so don't really worry about looking at what the price is. Just pay for it and get the herding over with.
Well, yeah, you got to buy the gas, but that means what you're not buying. So that extra $25 going into the gas tank is getting 8 out of what? That's my thing.
Yeah, it's about 4.30 in my area. I mean, to me, I don't know. I care what the price is, whether I'm buying it anyway or not. Especially like if I got a bit of job, like I just did one the other day, did paperwork, and I got to add an extra $150 on top just for gas, just to get to the job and back. So, where a while ago that might have been half that cost. So, I don't want to eat the cost. So, it matters to me. You know what I mean? But it's a crap deal. So
I waited about
thrilled.
4 weeks before I raised our prices on my service calls and everything, but I had to. I mean, we bumped all our costs up now because I got a lot of I got 2 trucks on the road all day long, so gotta keep gas in them.
And gas adds up, especially like this one I just did is it's over an hour away, so gas adds up. I still don't hit people for estimates myself. I know other people do, or they'll say they don't, and be careful of that. They'll be like, no, estimates are free. They still charge you like a fee for the fuel.
If they get the job, you mean?
No, like they'll say like have you believe it's a free estimate,
okay.
And then they show up and do the estimate, and then they hand you a bill for like the fuel cost, which to me, I like that's just crazy. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't do that to
you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like it's like that's not the way to introduce. I don't know. To me, there's no way I deal with somebody like that. But
you could be a little more subtle about it. Maybe if you get the job, throw extra $20 on the job for the gas when you whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's
don't
the
like
way
blatantly
I
tell them that you're charging them for it.
Yeah. Like if I get the job, I got to add fuel in, and I'll throw on whatever for the estimate when I ran up initially. So that's the way I think most people do it. But there's some people out there that lead you to believe it's free and then show up and try to hit you with a price.
Yeah, Trent
So
just said, "Good luck collecting that." I would too. I'd tell him,
yeah.
"The hell
Yeah,
out of
well, a
here!
lot
I
of
ain't paying
times
you.
it's a
You said
single
it's a free
mom or this
estimate."
or that that gets, bullied into paying it, which is still bullshit.
Hmm.
Yeah, just tell them to pound sand.
Yeah, yeah. If
I-
they're advertising a free estimate, I'd tell them to f off. Get out of here, man. I ain't paying that. You just said you're advertising a free estimate.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up, man. People do some shady stuff, and this was one of the big companies in the book around here that's doing that and getting away with it apparently.
Yeah, Trent
So-
said when prices go down, I assume you lower that charge. Yeah, we don't keep it where it's at. We'll lower it back down. I've been doing this. I've been doing plumbing for 30 some years. I've seen this gas go up and down a million times. But this time it's bad. Like I got to charge for it now.
So we've got Hobbies Hobo who's joined us. Welcome. And now, what if your estimate has gas charge at $6 a gallon? Let's just, and then overnight the gas prices plummet to like $3 a gallon. Do you go and at the end of the job say, hey, the gas, our fuel cost wasn't where we thought it was going to be due to the fact that gas has dropped, and you give them a break on that fuel? Or do you just say, okay, well, we already estimated it to have that $6, so now I'm profiting even more?
I mean, I don't know if I would. I've never seen gas drop $3 a gallon in 24 hours, but I mean, I guess if it did, I'd probably be so happy I'd give them some kind of break. That'd be great if that happened.
We know Rob would be like, screw it. I already put it in the estimate. I'm keeping it.
Sorry, I got interrupted by the lady. What I miss? Is there something I'm supposed to comment on, or
That's all right. We already handled the comment for you.
gas prices?
If you put an
goes
estimate,
with the current gas prices, whatever it's going to cost me. So if it gets
So
cheaper in 2 weeks, then the bill's cheaper. So
I didn't say
Yeah.
if say the gas was $6 a gallon, and that's what you averaged your estimate on, and then all of a sudden it went to $3 a gallon overnight. Would you give them the $3 break, or would you just leave it the same?
I'd give them a break, honestly. That's, I don't know. I got a good relationship with my customers, so if I can save them money, I do, and that's what keeps them referring me off to their family members and other people. So I've actually had people write like an extra zero on a check, because a lot of old people still use checks, and corrected them on that fact. You screw somebody once, you're done. And if they find out, it's just way better to play it safe and do the repeat business than running around screwing people, in my opinion. And I always, treat them how you'd want to be treated. Now, there is a couple customers that are straight assholes. Like, they know they're assholes, and I charge them extra money just because they're assholes and they know it. With those couple, no, I wouldn't take it off the bill. But any other average person, I would.
I got a few customers like that. Every time they call, they get charged extra just because I got.
And they call you back, right?
They call me back,
yeah, because you do good work. They know, but they still call you back. Well, I can't speak. That's my situation, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm dreading driving to their house, not because of the job, but because of their personality, I'm definitely charging extra.
Yeah. If it's going to be a bad thing like that, and half the family's watching you the whole time, your kids are trying to steal your tools, you got to unplug everything, wrap everything up every time you step away from that stuff. I mean, jobs like that can be a hassle.
So welcome Tim S. Welcome HIPAA.
Men of Tupperware, I see your comment out there. I hope you're right, but man, I don't think he's going anywhere, to be honest with you. But I hope you are right. I hope he does lose the primary, but I don't see it happening.
So do we have anything more to discuss about the Every Second Matters happening today?
I'd say hopefully we reach some people that maybe never heard of it before, between this show, the one I did for Rick earlier, and anybody else to spread the word. So yeah.
I see Squib did a video for Every Second Matters. I haven't watched it yet, but he just released that video.
Yeah, the last one I watched was his Coors Banquet beer video yesterday. Me and him commented back and forth for a while on that one. That was pretty funny. I like Squib. He's a good guy.
Squid drinks coolers.
I don't think I don't know if he drinks it or if he was just doing it for a video or.
I'd be shocked. I would think that would be beneath him or something.
And he had a bunch of it too. I mean, he had like
No, because Squib, he had commented, or he had a video one time, and I had commented about a little higher dollar, like Johnny Walker. And he's like, yep, I stick to the cheap stuff, and I let the wife have the high dollar stuff. So he is a Coors fan, and I would probably, I don't know if I'd say he's a Coors fan, but I could see him cracking a Coors.
And my mom used to drink a lot of that. My mom and my uncle. Oh shit! That whole side of the family. That was. I don't know what the deal was, but I guess they liked it. So, but I know it was somewhat affordable or whatnot. So, but it seemed a lot of people make jokes about it. So, I don't know. I'm not much of a beer fan in general. So, I guess my opinion doesn't really count.
Manitupor said he did his E2M video this morning. If you want to hear him sing, you can check out his video or live stream that he did earlier.
Is he any good?
I'm just reading this comment. Yep. So I wish Travis was out here in the side chat, because I'd give him a little bit of hell. I mean, he had the ability. You know, his show should have started off Every Second Matters, but he decided, you know what? I'm just not 2A enough. I'm going to wait until the 3rd.
what show?
Well,
His
I thought his show was tomorrow, but now I see what you're saying. Yeah, he could have done
Yeah.
what you're saying.
If he would have stuck to his normal caliber corners on Saturday mornings, he would have been the first 2A show.
He had family coming in today, that from Texas or something. That's why he didn't do his show today.
I know he's just not 2A enough
Oh,
to.
okay.
He's just not 2A enough to be like, you know what, fam, guess what? This is Every Second Matters. I've got to do this live stream.
Sounds like he's smart enough not to start a world worth of trouble.
I'm just giving him hell. I hope he
Gonna
hears
leave the
this.
family stranded at the airport so he can do a chat to make you happy. Wow.
There's a thing called taxis. There's a thing called Ubers.
Is there an airport in Nebraska?
That's a good
You
question.
can land anywhere in the state, I think.
And say all you got to do is pick the right cornfield.
Yeah.
Exactly. Didn't even get some E85 fuel for the jet.
We got a lot of airstrips just out in the middle of fields around here where I live. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Well, it's not like you guys got to worry about mountains. You don't got any. It's all flat land.
Yeah, it's windy here all the time. Like there's nothing blocking it. You get down south, you get in the hills, it's all right, but up here it's flat.
At least you got it right. The South has hills. They don't got mountains. They got hills or molehills.
Yeah, well, I've been in the mountains.
We got some
Hills have eyes.
We got some mountains here in the east.
No, you don't. Your tallest mountain is our average mountain pass. Don't get me started on that. Your guys are like 3,500 feet. Yeah, which what? The tallest peak is what? 3,400 feet?
Well, it's not my fault that ours is correct.
Molehills.
And yours has got to be on the left coast and stuff like that and try to be bigger.
There's no trying. Our mountain passes are like 3,500 feet.
It won't be when California falls into the ocean.
That has nothing to do with the Rockies.
Yeah, it does. It keeps California there. Instead of letting it slide off into the ocean.
No,
Your mountains are bad.
That's like
Your mountains are bad, G.
What's that?
Trust the science.
Geography illiterate.
Trust the science, I said.
So we got Bernie Sanchez out in the crowd. Welcome.
What's up, Burnaby?
How do you expect him to know where the Rocky Mountains are? He's not a geologist.
Right on.
I mean, if you would have said, like the Cascade Mountain ranges, I probably could have given him that.
Well, I can't. I live close to the Appalachian Mountains, so that's just the way it is.
I mean, I think the Great Smoky Mountains are a little taller than the Appalachians.
See, now you're talking about you're not a geologist either, or because the Great Smoky Mountains are part of the Appalachian Mountain Range.
Well, see,
guys, who's got the bigger mountain doesn't really matter. Okay,
Utah.
I think the problem is whose mountain range keeps California afloat.
Colorado's.
Yours.
No, that's the Rockies. That would be Colorado. That's.
Hi, Emmett.
What's going on, Bernie? Good to see you.
But anyone contemplating a new addition to the collection?
I have several. I just haven't mentioned them all yet.
That you've added or that you've thought about adding?
Oh, that I've added. I have added the Tactical Cowboy and the from Herbert, the Rough Rider gun there. And I've added PPKS and the Smith & Wesson 10mm.
I got my next 3 picked out. I just don't know what order I'm going to buy them in. I'm going to get the new Walther PDP Pro. I'm going to get the that SAR K12. And I'm going to I want to get that Keltec CMR 30. Well, maybe I don't. After buying 22 mag today, I might not want that now.
Do you got the PMR? Or are you just going to go straight to the carbine one?
Yeah, I was going to go straight to the carbine, but I got a new gun last weekend that I can put 22 LR and 22 mag in. And after seeing what 22 mag costs today, I'm like, don't know if I want that CMR 30 now.
Yeah, a 30 round 22 mag magazine is really only like having a motorcycle if you can't drag rate. You can't go anywhere on it. It's like it's the point of it is having the 30-round mag, because it used to be cheap to shoot that for, I don't know, I would take it out to the range and shoot steel at, fast, where normally you can't do that with other 22s. And the Magnum lets you shoot all of them, like the distance stuff, real quick. And I like the gun. I sold it because I wasn't playing with it. But I was just curious if you had the pistol already, and that way you could share mags, because they're basically the same gun, right? Just one has
Yeah.
longer
Yeah.
stuff. So you could share mags, because I really like it. People rag on Keltec all the time. I rag on gun companies, but I dig Keltec. Like, I really like them.
Oh, I like them. Yeah, like my Sub 2000 is still one of my favorite guns I own. I love that thing. It runs great.
I'm not taking them to
Keltec
war,
too.
but if there was one laying around and I needed it, I'd pick it up. I'd know how to work it and work it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love my KSG.
Yeah,
They get a bad rap because some of them look funny, some of them are kind of hinky, but that Sub 2000, I shot the heck out of that. That thing, works pretty well. So I can't speak for the first models or all this or whatever, but the one I've had hands on, I would have been happy to own. Wanted that PMR 30, but New York State, they won't let me have it. If I could, I would already own that. People say what you want, but I think it would do the job if it was reliable. So, and also be kind of fun as well. So, what else was there? The KSG is decent. There was also that. Can't think of the name of it now. 5.56 rifle that they had as well. That's apparently works all right. Would I choose it over an AR? No, but in some states like mine, it would be an option for people. So I think Caltech's all right. I like overall. I like their stuff, and I think in general they're fairly affordable, even for being kind of hit or miss. I think the KSG they wanted a little bit too much for, but that's just me.
Nike Strike pay you to put that plug in there for his Tuesday?
No, I just figured it'd probably shock somebody, but I know a lot of people hate them. I don't know, I think they're kind of cool. Some of them, maybe they'd be cooler if they all were 100% reliable, but I don't know. I think it's something different is a good thing.
I have several of them. I got the KSG shotgun. Definitely don't want to shoot no Magnum loads through that bad boy. It's going to hurt.
Archak, you do not have the KSG. You have the KS7.
Well, you know what I mean.
Which is half of the actual KSG.
Okay, all right. So I'm trying to talk good things here about it. And then I got a Sub 2000. I love that damn thing.
That's the folding one, right?
Yeah, it's a 9mm, takes Glock mags. I did have to send it back for the warranty on the barrel. So when I got it back, first thing I went and done was go take it to the range and make sure the accuracy was still the same, and it was. So
they make that in a 40 too, don't they? I think.
Yeah, they make it in a 40.
Yeah.
And then I got the PMR 30. I love that gun. It's been pretty well reliable for me as long as I load the magazine right. It works every time. And I even carried it one day just for shits and giggles, 22 mag. And
is that a quad stack mag?
No, that's just the PMR 30 has the 30-round magazine. That
Dual 15.
The quad mag is that CP 33. It holds like 33 rounds of 22 long rifle.
Okay. Because I'm always sketchy on those quad stack. I mean, I'm sure at some point we get it down, but it seems like everything seems to be a problem after, two magazines with those.
And I got their P17 22 long rifle pistol. That thing's pretty good. I like it.
That's the one I have.
So when they come out with that, I guess whatever their 9mm pistol is, I'll probably give it a try too.
Foss, we probably should have taken the 22 to the range.
I didn't even think about it.
I'm going to answer Brian's question real quick. He asked me if I wanted to test that new pistol out he bought today. I actually would really like to test that out, Brian. I have never, I've never actually shot one without a brace on it. I noticed the one you got is just basically the buffer tube with the pad around it. So I would gladly take it and test it. But I have a feeling you're going to want to put a brace on it. Interesting.
So in other words, you guys are talking about an AR pistol that just has the receiver extension without any kind of pistol brace on it?
Yeah, he talked about it when he first got in the chat earlier. He sent me a picture of it. He lives here. He's a good friend of mine. He lives here in Marion where I'm at. And he bought a new gun at a gun store I recommended today. And he sent me a picture of it. And I noticed it didn't have a brace on it. That's probably something he's going to want to put on it.
So when you said that, it made me think, like, I don't even think that's something that's when I do the show on Saturday, I'm trying to bring people together, been gun owners forever, because I don't think we think about stuff sometimes because we're just so used to stuff, right? We're so set in our ways, or we're just so experienced. But I mean, how long did we spend with AR pistols? Probably from between 2004 to 2012 or something when they made the brace. So my pistols, I'm so used to running an AR pistol. When it's got a brace on it, I'm like, this thing's in my way. Like it's, I don't ever shoulder a pistol. So, I mean, not like that.
I get it. Yeah,
so I never even thought about it, that there's people that are like, oh, I don't want to.
Like me, I've never shot an AR without a brace on it. A pistol AR without a brace.
For me, it wasn't supposed to be like, I didn't think of my AR pistol is little, 7-inch barrel. Like nobody likes mine because it's too little to be ballistically good. But mine is a get off of me AR. You know what I mean? Like mine's a little car gun. Like I'm next to the border. Like if something's going down horrible, I got my AR and then I got my little AR. And I don't want nothing on my little AR but the handle. So I have a carry handle on it and an A2 front sight, post. So it's as much like get off of me, and now I'm going to jab you with it as anything. And I don't want that because the braces originally weren't the little skeletonized braces. They were the big SIG brace. So for me, that was adding like the bulk of the whole gun to the gun. It was making it twice as bulky. And I just never thought about it, that people now have only shot AR pistols with braces. And to them, it seems awkward and weird. When to me, it seems like a new thing to be able to shoot an AR pistol with a brace as opposed to an AR or something.
That's a good take on it. I never thought of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like I said, I never even would have thought of that either. That like it's like, some people come into it and they don't know what it's like to not own a Glock or a polymer gun. But like I say, we spend, maybe not most of our lives. We spent a good chunk of our lives. Plastic guns didn't exist. Like that was not a thing.
Yep. Oh, so Brian did get a brace with it when he bought it. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Brian, definitely. I'll gladly do a video with it. I'm always looking for some guns to shoot.
So, Rob, you want to talk about this?
Talk about what?
What's on the screen?
Okay. I'm assuming it's a Caltech by the checkering on the grip. I'm unfamiliar with the gun itself. But yeah.
SU-16 or something?
It's the PLR 16.
They made a version.
Still looks better than a Glock.
They had a version of this with an underfolder stock.
It reminds you of like a shrunken down AK chambered in 5.56. Does it not?
Kind of. It's more like an HEK 416, tiny.
So it accepts standard AR mags.
Are those new? I feel like those have been around for a long time. Did they do something new to it?
I don't know, but this was a link that Rob decided he wanted to share, so I figured he wanted to talk about this for some reason.
What are you talking about? Hey, I don't know. It still looks better than a Glock. What do you want me to say?
I mean,
I don't know.
It's weird looking. It looks kind of like a laser thing or something, like a Star Wars thing more than anything. But I'm pretty sure when this was made, it was a result of the assault. It was during the assault weapons ban, and under the requirements of the assault weapons ban, a pistol with rifle caliber had to weigh very little. It couldn't weigh very much. And that's where you see some of these AR pistols that look skeletonized with a bunch of holes in them. So I think what they were trying to do here is strip as much weight off of it as possible. And they were also, this was back in the day, no one had challenged or, created any awareness of the idea of an AOW not allowed to have a vertical front grip, or a pistol not allowed to have a vertical front grip. It would become an AOW, I guess you should say. So they didn't want to have any handguard on it because they weren't sure yet. And I think people can rag on it because looking back at it, compared to everything we got, it's goofy and awkward. But that's a dude from Sweden who got mad about the gun laws and started to build guns that complied to allow people to shoot recreationally, and then competition-wise, like that PMR 30 created an opportunity for competition that we've never had before. Inexpensive, capable ammo in a 30-round magazine that was affordable, that wasn't some H&K thing that nobody could even get their hands on. Once they were actually available, think of how different a steel match could be. Like I say, I would go out to the slow-fire pistol targets, slow-fire rimfire pistol targets, and knock dozens of them down, and then go out and reset them. But imagine if that was a match where you're shooting dozens and dozens of targets instead of 10. That could open up a whole new realm of shooting. So I think Helgren is out there doing stuff to kind of, I'm putting my thumb on my nose and wiggling my fingers to the ATF. He's been doing that since he started. I don't know if it's like his main thing, like it's a badge, but he does it. He's been doing it. And that gun there was to comply with weights of the assault weapons ban handgun with rifle caliber restrictions, if I understand it correctly. Or maybe it was for like some state who has similar, like an AR pistol basically can't weigh more than however many ounces. I think it was to comply with that.
So Mr. Jamie says it reminds him of the old broom handles Mauser made. So I see we have She Fires who has jumped out in the crowd. So welcome, She Fires. And that was a awesome short that she did on the mail call. So thank you so much.
I haven't seen that one yet. I watched the Renaissance Festival video yesterday.
Dude, that Renaissance Festival video was pretty cool. I was like, damn.
The girl holding the owl was wild. That was some wild stuff right there.
She was a trip. When it first flipped on her, and all of a sudden she she's got those wide eyes, and she kind of barely moves. It's like, dude, that's kind of freaky.
There was a lot of freaky stuff going on there. That was wild.
The chick riding the dude as her horse.
Yeah. And then not only the lady holding the owl, was all the other birds she had. She had like all kinds of hawks and stuff sitting there on those perches. That was weird, man.
Falconeer.
Yeah, the bush was cool. I like the bush.
Oh yeah, the person.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
Reminded me of a friend outside of a hotel, drunk, laying on the ground, screaming at a bush, having a full-blown conversation after a wedding one time. Like, what the hell are you doing? And he starts yelling about the bush and this and that. So it was pretty entertaining. So that was obviously too long to leave in a comment, but I definitely like the bush.
Yeah, the tortoises were cool too. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff there. Like, that's one of those things I'd like to go to and just walk around and drink beer all day and just people watch.
You'd have to drink mead.
No, I just take my own beer.
You guys heard of fairy festivals?
No.
It's
Are you trying to tell us something?
Is that for like
No.
little girls?
No, I'm talking about, like, I don't know. It's they call it the flyer thing I got. It was like the fairy festival. It's not like a gay thing or whatever. It's
Sure.
people dress up like fairies, like Peter Pan, all that type of stuff or whatever. So
It's like for little girls, they want to go to something that isn't a bunch of swords, right? They want to dress up
somewhat. The
princesses or
girl
something.
that told me about it's more along the hippie line. So
Okay.
I don't know if it would. I haven't been to one, so I'm not sure if it's really kid oriented. I think it is, but it might be one of them things like, till sundown. I don't know. So, but that's kind of what that festival reminded me of in a sense. So,
We got
I
a
mean,
run.
I haven't been to it, but from what I heard from it.
Chris,
I know
you
we
never
have
been to
one
the
of
one in Ohio?
Yeah, we got one here in Ohio.
It's
I
up
think.
in Middletown, I think, or Dayton.
I might have to go to one now after watching that video. It might be a beer drinking day. Just walk around, drink beer, and people watch.
Have you never been to one before?
No.
When I was a little kid, we went to them, and the main thing that I can remember, the reason that people wanted to go there was they made big giant turkey legs or something that they would.
Oh yeah, that's right. They do have those.
See, I'm gonna have to look and see, because I don't think there's anything like that around here. The only thing I was thinking that could be possibly close to that would
in
be
Oregon. You live in a Renaissance fair, dude.
Dude,
that's
like-
100% of the year there.
like
I know you still
You go
own
to-
a Glock.
go to Ashland and go to the Shakespearean Festival.
Like normal people go to a Renaissance fair and they're like, oh, there's a guy with a big beard or whatever. Oh, there's a guy with a kilt. Like, oh, there's a guy carrying a sword around. And then you go to Oregon and you're like, oh, there's a guy with a kilt. There's a guy with a sword or whatever. There's a guy with a beard. Like, it's the same thing except spread out.
You forgot about the guy with the caber who's carrying around the big old telephone pole getting ready to throw it.
Oh yeah, and then the thing with like they got the fire on the end of the stick and they put it in their mouth and blow fire. Like I bet you that happens in Oregon all the time too. Like
I mean, we
be asking for money with a sign or blowing fire and asking for money or whatever.
playing a violin, eating fire. It happens.
A plate of macaroni and cheese and an apple.
No, burgers and mac and cheese. Salad on a burger too. Just anybody asks, your freaks out there.
So
course.
Baldwin Curious is asking which way you're spelling ferry, F-A or F-E?
A ferry festival where everybody just gets on a boat and goes across the river.
I don't know. I'm sure you guys can Google them and look them up. So apparently it's a thing, like the rainbow gatherings and all this other stuff. That's a thing out there, I guess. Which
So-
most people would probably lead to believe is gay, but apparently the rainbow gatherings like big old hippie fest thing.
Well, I could see a difference between a hippie thing where they're just going to sit around like tie dyes and braiding their hair or whatever they do and listening to music versus like a Renaissance fair, which is pretty much like buy turkey legs and drink beer and watch people joust and do all this stuff from the olden days, right? Like, so I could see where it would be a different type of event.
So
We just don't have them out here that I know. But there's that thing called, is Running Man like a bigger version of that thing you're talking about? It's in like Utah or something, California.
No
So,
idea. I don't
Chris-
know all the details on the stuff.
Yeah.
if you go to one of these Renaissance fairs, are you going to take a cameraman so that he can video you throwing a axe and throwing knives and shooting arrows?
I probably could. My kid will go do anything if I pay him.
Are you going to pay him in mead?
No. He'd say, "How much am I going to get paid to go film you?" And then that's where the conversation will start.
I'll
That's right.
donate $1
I'll donate 2 glasses of mead.
and a leg of mutton.
I don't know.
Do I have to dress up too and everything?
Oh, of course.
Dress up like the flute player.
Peter Pan. I don't give a shit.
No, if you watched She Fire's video, you'll get the flute player comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad none of my reenactments get that crazy.
Well, that's because you do Civil War reenactment.
I don't do Civil War. I do Spanish American War, World War I, and World War II, and Korean Vietnam.
Well, one Vietnam wasn't a war; it was a military action, or police action, and
yeah. And they used to say
conflict that was reclassified by Bill Clinton
Bill
as a
Clinton
war.
is a pole smoker, so no. Hi, bud. But yeah, my grandpa was in Korea too, and he whooped somebody's ass when he said it was a police action. He says, "You don't know the difference between a police action and a fucking war."
But Korea was actually declared a war.
Vietnam was a war too. Just ask any Vietnam veteran that was there.
My dad was there.
Well, it was the same action, but yeah, I mean, technically they never declared war on anybody, so all it ever was classified as is a police action.
Yeah, and it was reclassified under Clinton as a war so that they could get the vet benefits that they would have gotten for actually being.
Oh, see, that's probably a big part of why they got the shaft, more ways than one. But that was one of the shafts they got, right? Shaftings they got was if it's not technically a war because the politicians don't want us, have the.
Yeah, they didn't get all the VA benefits.
Yeah, that's a good point. Those of us that served in Cold War between events are in the same, that's different than working or being enlisted during wartime. So if that would suck to actually go to battle, do all the things, right? Experience all the stuff, and then come home and be like, we don't feel like classifying it as that. Therefore, it's just like you were sitting at home.
Well, that happened again during the Gulf War because a lot of the people I served with had Gulf War syndrome.
Oh, no, yeah, during the Gulf War, exactly, because that was hours long, and everybody was like, oh, no, and even the people in were saying, like, oh, that wasn't a war, that don't count. It's like, yeah, whatever.
As soon as somebody's shooting at you and you're shooting back, that's a fucking war.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter if it's 100 hours or 10 minutes or whatever.
Talk to the dudes that jumped out of airplanes without landing zones and broke. Tell them that they didn't break because that what didn't happen. I mean, yeah, exactly. But anyway, yeah, that's a whole other topic, I guess. Vietnam vets had a situation where their parents were World War II or whatever. So they added to the stuff, and now we live in the results of the Vietnam vets having offspring and going to war and coming back. So I don't know what that's called, but there's a name for looking at the past through the through the filter of the eyes of today, and that's what people fall into. I think when we talk about stuff, because we go, oh well, we know what wars are because we know what World War I is, we know what World War II is, we know what all these other wars are, so we're just going to conveniently put Vietnam in there. And it isn't the same as all the rest of them necessarily. They're all different from each other, but you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I think that's what we fall into, is the assumption that because of what we experience, it was just like that before, except in black and white.
People always fight the last war. There's a fancy way of saying that, but I can't think of it. Plus, I got
you're thinking about the Army.
Yeah, that's well said.
Military always fights the next war with the last war's technology.
Well, we used to. Now you can make more money doing it the other way around, and they've gone a little bit overboard going the other way around to some extent. It used to cost millions to send thousands to go do something, and now you can spend millions to send dozens, and it just gets a lot of greedy bureaucrats interested in spending those millions, because only when dozens of people do things, the consequences aren't the same. There's not the same thousands of families that feel thousands of deaths and all that. Like, they can do stuff at a different scale. More money, fewer people, less awareness. It's not a good recipe, but what happens is the systems, and this I'm gleaning, I'm not aware at all, except for gleaning this from listening to people in these interviews and stuff that I've been listening to a lot. The structures themselves, the individuals who are in those structures and observing the failures and the problems, bring it to the attention, and the problems get solved to some extent. So it evolves, but I hear what you're saying. Like we used to definitely do that a lot, and now I think that we've gone the other way, and now we're kind of swinging back. I always say it's like pendulum swings. We overcorrect and then bring it back, but we're so good at the concept of that now that we're getting better at the focus or getting better at the equilibrium or whatever that's called, balancing the equations. We're not perfect and we haven't figured it out, but we're getting better. At least from what I'm saying, I'm still optimistic. I don't think it's a feudal system. We are definitely not in the military of sending infantries of platoons at anything. Well, some countries are, but we're not.
We hadn't faced a conventional war since Korea.
And we won't. That's what I'm saying. It's so advantageous for money and stuff. Like they can spend millions to run a helicopter above a dozen dudes, and very few people are aware of it. So everybody makes money there and know the consequences of Vietnam, where a bunch of people, had sons and daughters and whatever there. So everybody knew about it. Everybody was upset about it. When they only send 10 dudes to do stuff and send millions of dollars worth of air hardware and satellites and drones and stuff to back them up, the job gets done. So I'm not saying that ain't happening. The job gets done way faster. But because that happens, it's not a surgical knife anymore. Now it's a cool laser. What happens is you get a bunch of stupid bureaucrats in charge of the laser, and they all clamor all over each other to use the laser next.
But what you're describing leads to issues like Iraq and Afghanistan.
Right. They start
if you don't have the boots on the ground, you do not control that area, period. You may control the air, but if you don't have boots on the ground to occupy it, you don't control it.
No, I'm talking about own the air over those 10 guys, and then everybody goes home. They own the air for like 15 minutes for like a house or two, and then they leave. Like that's super effective for getting specific tasks done, but it just spends millions of dollars on these bureaucrats. And the problem has been they all keep passing the remote control to each other, accomplishing little garbage tasks and wearing everybody out. So that's what I'm saying. It went from platoons and like generals having to make the decisions to a remote control with politicians being more in control, and that isn't out of control rampant because the people who are the ones who are doing the work were like, hey, wait a minute, who's running the remote control, and this doesn't seem right. And like I say, it's correcting again. Now what it corrects to, I don't know. I'm not saying I know everything, but I'm just saying I used to be a lot less optimistic or aware, but after listening, there's some awesome interviews. I mean, awesome interviews with people from all over the spectrum of military and operators that work with the military, and different people that assist and facilitate. And once you get that picture, like our military's changed completely. Like say, we're not a scalpel. I don't like that analogy. It's not like we're sending in 10 dudes by themselves anymore. It's 10 dudes to be the boots on the grounds because we don't need a platoon anymore. We don't leave that impact or any kind of impression behind like we used to, unless we need to. Sometimes we do intentionally, but for the most part,
10 dudes is the Marines. At
No,
best.
10
And
dudes.
then they get killed, and then they send 10 more in.
No. Marines
Sure.
don't go in groups of 10.
And some crayons.
Army is usually 3 to 1 if we got the choice. So we like to
Talking
overwhelm
battalion,
force.
you're talking regular in military, yeah, but it's not that. It's special operations have been going in and doing everything lately. So the last 20 years has developed special operations into its own branch, and like I say, that's given the control and whatnot to these bureaucrats who've been making decisions more. So anyway, like I say, you can only do that for so long with those people, and then they're like, wait a minute, who's pushing the controls on this? Wait a minute. And then it ends quickly because that's a lot of money being poured through a very small hose, where before it took a lot of people to double check it's okay to send the money through this big hose.
And
anyway,
in the long run, it doesn't pan out in our favor. It only alleviates that situation then and there. If you don't,
oh no, it's in our favor because we're getting a lot more skill set. We have a lot more inventory of tools than we ever had before. We can still do everything we always did, except now we can do a lot more interesting stuff.
They don't.
Strategically.
We've occupied Iraq and Afghanistan and done those surgical strikes like that for years, and then it turned into decades, and we still left with our tail between our legs because we got beat by Stone Age people.
No, we didn't get beat by Stone Age people. We got beat by not having an established goal with the united ambition towards it. Like I say, we gave the remote control for the goals to politicians who kept pushing the buttons. And it's like zigzagging. Go do this. Go do that. Okay, we're satisfied. Now do this. Go do that. Do the impossible. Go do this. Do that. Go get slaughtered. Go do this. Go do that. Yeah, you're right. The results of that were ineffective and we left. But if you're going to say that we lost because we were like overpowered or no, we lost because we left. No individual was outwitted or overskilled. They would go effectively conscript poor people and say, hey, you want any money? Go here and fight. Religion, some money, do whatever you want. Fight. We're not fighting like trained individuals.
The Iranians sat back and laughed and watched as we lost both those wars. Because one thing's for sure, the American people and the politicians will go with the American people, and they don't like a meat grinder. All they have to do is last long enough and hold out long enough, and they'll know that we'll leave eventually. Because either public opinion will turn against the war, and that's why right now we see all the drum beating up for the Ukrainian, for us to invade and help the Ukrainians, because the media's pounding that stuff. Oh yeah, well, look at the Ukrainians. Like I said earlier, I mean, they're both the same. They're just a double-edged sword, one on either side, and they're both dictators and both corrupt. And realistically, I could care less about the Ukraine. It's all over oil. That's what the whole Syrian war was, over that pipeline. And it's all, and here's the thing, it's all Europe's fault. Let them fight their own damn wars. Let them die. Same way with Afghanistan. The whole damn time we was there, he was in Pakistan. Oh, but they're nuclear power, so we won't do nothing with them. They're supposed to be our friends. And
if you believe that.
Right. And the whole problem with, hell, we stuck Saddam in power and left him there. And then when he didn't do what we told him to do, then we went and got him out.
It was our buddy. We gave him
exactly.
And nuclear weapons, I believe, or chemical weapons. He used on the Kurds just to see if they work.
Right, exactly. And here the whole thing is that all those strings are being paid by the Iranians. Those are the ones who need to pay. And it's not the people of Iran, it's the damn Islamic terrorists and the jihad people there. Iran used to be a decent country at one time.
I'd agree that I think we were beat by ourselves, honestly, in the sense that hands were tied, the political stuff, hearts and minds, a lot of things.
Hearts and minds didn't work in Vietnam. It didn't
could have been. I think a lot of, I don't know. I probably shouldn't even get into all this, but when you're going to do something, you do it all the way.
Exactly. Right? You're damn right. So. I feel the same way. We're going to go there and occupy this country and do all this stuff, then by God, then let's do it right.
So I think it's hard to judge, but I also think, even if hands were off or whatever, still, it's not just one individual, one group. I mean, it's an ideology. People are crossing borders or nomadic or whatever you call it. I mean, I don't think it would be an easy war, even if it was. We might have came out differently, I think, but in the end, I think we'd still have problems later, just because people hold a grudge.
Unless you're Germans or Japanese, and then they like our money and our economy.
We have Guns and Barbecue who has popped in. He had a link, but I guess I'm not good enough for him to join the panel. And then we have Smegsy42 who has jumped in and said, happy every second matters. So, thank you.
So, Rob, you going to get the 10 millimeter M&P?
As soon as you buy me one.
His wrist couldn't handle the 10 mil. That's why he shoots 9 mil.
That's what I was.
Pockets couldn't handle the 10 mil.
I was going to say that. I mean, if he ever comes to Tennessee and shoots with me, I'm gonna have the 45 and the 40 and all in M&Ps and the 10 millimeter MP for him to shoot. And that now I'm afraid that I'm gonna have him sign some type of waiver just in case he breaks his little wrist. He don't try to sue me for shooting a 45. Or
No, man. I shoot 2 9s out so fast. You can call it 18 caliber, 18 mil.
Right. Thought you had a binary trigger for your M&P.
That's what it seems like. Cause that 9 millimeter, that laser beam around, put you right back on target. Like you never leave target. It's amazing. She's stroking out yet?
Yeah, you went quiet. So he's probably having a stroke right now.
Yeah, this 9 millimeter bull crap.
Oh man, that's what's happening out there in the chats.
They're talking about you need to start doing some exercise on your wrist.
On my
So,
wrist.
Artak and Rob, were you at the gun shop with me and I not know it today?
Sure.
I'm starting to wonder because, I picked up my M&P 2.0 10 millimeter, and then I'm talking to my mom because she was nice enough to take me. Obviously, I gotta find rides, and I made a 9 millimeter joke, and it's something about girls shoot it, and I was like, yeah, and I mentioned that Mark, the guy behind the counter, carries 9 millimeter. And he says, yep. And he taps both of his sides. He's like, 2 of them. I was like, yep, 18 millimeter. And say, just kind of creepy how all that just fell into place.
Are you
Small world.
Are you gonna put a RMR on your 10?
I don't know. With my vision the way it is, I would like to, but at the same time, I'm afraid to spend that kind of money on one to not be able to use it. But the problem is, I don't have any ranges around here where I can go do a rental or anything to try one out. And likewise, I don't know anybody that has one to, just be like, hey, can I go shoot your gun to see if this will work for my super terrible eyes? So eventually I'm just going to have to suck it up, buy one, and if it doesn't work for me, take a bath on it.
Well, you could go and get you one of those Chinese knockoffs for like $35, and
it's true.
That's what I did to see if I was going to like it, and So, can you see the red dot with your eye, or
like the one that I have on my AR, I can, but that one also has green, which the green shows up better for me. So that's always a big plus as well. If I can get one that's at least 2 different color functions, be nice if the higher end ones would start making a 3rd color option in the reticle and have them blue as well.
I got one on my some of my red dots on my ARs are multicolor like that. They're red, green, and blue. I see the blue a lot better than I do the red.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I don't know if any RMR for pistols are coming green.
Yeah, see, that's what I don't know either.
Because all the ones, the 4 that I have are all red. And I wish they were in green or blue, personally.
The bald out there, just to let you know, I had to use that change to buy my new washing machine, unfortunately.
What's his name?
Hot Point.
You say a new washing machine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if you would have just bought a cement mixer, you could have doubled it up as a washing machine, killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
Maybe, I don't know.
And that would have been thrifty as hell, too.
And then it's spinning anyway, so it's agitating everything. It gets everything clean. No big deal.
I seen a deal for behind a dryer where you put this ring on the wall and this ring on your dryer exhaust like tube or whatever, but it doesn't have to hardly be very long. And then there's magnets on both the rings, so when you scoot the dryer up close to the wall, the magnets take effect, and you don't have to reach back there and figure it out. And the little thing can be really short. It doesn't have to be a big. Sometimes they're kind of long.
That's pretty nifty.
Yeah, that is kind of cool because they're a pain in the ass to get in. Sometimes you got to damn near lean over top of the machine and try to get them hooked up
or something. And then when you pull it out, you just pull on it, and then magnets let go, and everything's cool. I mean, it seemed cool in the little ad. Of course, that's the ad for it, but it seemed pretty.
So, thanks, Foss, for showing up, and I do believe you have your overnight going on tonight. So, definitely go check him out. And he says, peace out to everyone. So have a great night. Get some sleep.
Oh, I thought he meant we were all getting pizza. I read that wrong.
Oh man, I sent Victoria to the door for no reason then.
It's messed up, man.
Better watch that other hand.
And to answer your question, Holosun does make a green dot. In the 407, in the 507, and there's a couple. I think ADE actually has a green dot, and they're a cheaper option also, and they're not quite Chinese knockoff of Wish wannabe. So.
Yeah, the green one is the 407 green is like $299. Dude, you can go buy another gun with that much money.
I have the 507 X2.
Any chance you can buy those on Amazon?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that might not be such a big deal then. I say because then if I buy it and I can't see with it, I'll just be like, it didn't work, and then they just take it back for nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that's always an option.
I bought the wrong cell phone case because I bought the wrong cell phone case, right? So I went to Amazon, said, "Can I give this back to you?" And they're like, "Yeah, just bring it to a UPS store. I don't have to put it in a box. I don't have to do nothing. I think I just show them something off of my phone and then give them the case, and then they put it in a box and send it back to Amazon, and I get like my $10 back."
Nice.
I returned stuff on eBay. Didn't have any issues, even when it was marked that they don't return it. eBay gave me back the money. So,
Want to hear an eBay story that bothers me? I bought mag loaders for Glocks. How they come with that weird like plastic thing that's like cheap, but is technically a mag loader, but it's just a piece of plastic that you jam on the end of the mag, but it's free in the box all the time.
that cover or whatever.
It almost looks just like a cap for the mag. So I'm at a auction for the school, and the police at the school must have had them because there was this box, and there probably was 30 of them in there. It was $1 for 30 of them. So of course I bought them, even though I didn't need them. So I take them home and I'm looking at them after like a year, and then there's like 3 different kinds in there. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I collect Glock stuff, so now I have one of each of these 3 different kinds. I never even knew there was a difference, right? So I set 3 aside, and I just put the rest of them somewhere. I think I probably offered them to Patreons and like had them as giveaways or something. Nobody ever wanted them. And then I don't know if I looked on eBay or if I just decided to put them on eBay, but I put them on eBay, one of each, because there's 3 different kinds. And the first ones that sold, I forgot what they sold for anymore, but the guy, I take a picture of them and I put them on eBay and I send them to him. And I didn't think nothing of it, but I sent them to him in the same bubble wrap box, envelopes I send everybody everything in, because they're plastic, right? And they cost me nothing. So I figured I would just replace them. Well, and I haven't had a return on eBay ever. Like, I've got a lot. I've been on eBay for a long time. I can't remember ever having a return. This guy goes, one of them's broke. Can you send me a replacement? or no, he goes, this one's broke. Can you send me a replacement? And I go, yeah, no problem. Because again, I bought them for like 30th of a dollar or something. So I don't care. It's just going to cost me $3 or whatever to send it to him, which I'm not digging, but I'm going to replace the thing for the guy. Right. So I go, yeah, sure. Or I go, hey, I can send you the one, but it's going to cost me $3. So you want me to just take, 30% off, or I'll take half off the auction? And, because I thought they were just 3 commodities for the guy. And he got real mad. And he goes, no, what are you trying to say? I got to pay the $3? I'll tell you what, how many of those clear ones do you have? The ones that he was looking for. How many of those do you have? I'll buy them all off you for what, what do you want for them? And that made my ears go up. And I'm like, that's weird. That's a weird response. So I was like, here's the auction is free. You can just have them, but I'm not sending you new ones because I looked at the picture. That made me go look at the picture he sent me. And the one that was smashed in the picture was not the one I sent him. So I'm immediately like, what's up with this? This guy just replaced his broken one with the one I sent him. And now he's trying to lay it on me. So I send him another one, right? So I'm too cheap to just do that. I sent him his money back and I went, you're done. Like, I gave you all your money back. Sorry for the problem. 1 out of 3 was broken, but you got them all. And there's certainly no way I'm selling you any of them, right? I put the next couple of them up the same. And what I started to do now is send them in a box so that they don't get stepped on or something, just in case. And I take a picture of each and every auction because I figure something's up, right? I'm going to make sure all the scratches and everything on pictures of them. I sold one, that same set of 3 sold for $60 plus shipping. Another one sold for $50 plus shipping. So that one must be rare or something. And I still don't know why. It's old or something, or maybe it's from another country. I really have no idea why. And why the Arizona police at the university would have them, right? But maybe it's a police one or a school one. I really don't know. I'm not that much into collecting Glocks. But I know that the last ones I sold were only $20. That was frustrating. But the guy who bought it was like, I'll buy as many of these clear ones as you got. So they must be worth something somewhere. So just FYI, if you've got one of the clear Glock mag loaders, it's worth like $50 on eBay right now. But yeah, that bothered me that the guy, luckily it was weird. So I didn't waste $3 giving him something that was worth a lot more than I didn't realize. But that bugged me that the guy took a picture of a broken one that wasn't mine. And I could tell from the scratches and stuff that it was a different one.
Yeah, he tried to scam you.
Yeah, literally tried to scam me.
Yeah, that's crappy. I haven't had those experiences with eBay, so I know a lot of people seem to call it flea bay or whatever. But that's, if I shop online like that, that's what I use. I don't use Amazon because I'm not I don't want to make an account. I like checking out as a guest. I just pop in the filters, U.S. only, free shipping. Put in what I want, and it pops up. Buy now. So,
what do you guys think about Craigslist kind of thing, where it's all local and you're meeting people?
Lots of scammers. I've sold a bunch of stuff on Craigslist, so lots of scammers to watch out for, especially ATVs, all that type of stuff. They'll be offering something that's unbelievably cheap. I don't know what the scam is. They always want you to reply by email, so I don't anymore because I don't know if they're selling email information or what's going on, but a lot of scams, unfortunately. Low ballers, sold used tires. Guy tried to take off with like 4 tires for the cost of one. I think I told him like 25 a piece or something. He tried to take all 4 tires for $25. Like, turn into a big argument, this and that. Like, if you tell somebody $2,000 or $5,000 for a car, they're going to show up and offer you 800 and a jet ski or something like that. It's a lot of freaking hassle. You can do it. I've also sold gun furniture in a sense on Craigslist, and in a sense met a friend by doing so. So it's not all bad, but Craigslist can be a little sketchy. It's kind of a pain in the ass, honestly, in my opinion. Especially if you're selling anything like a vehicle, because everybody, I don't know what the deal is, but they hit you with the most insulting offers. It's ridiculous.
I think it's like it works. Some people
have a good night, Shara.
I think that low ball works for some people that somebody passes and now you've got the car, or you win the lottery and you buy the car you always wanted. Now you got your old car, and then value immediately is gone to you. You know, those kind of things. So I bet you sometimes people are like, I'll put the value in that I think, and then the first person that shows up or like the 30th person, and they're like, I don't care anymore. I'm not going to do this. Sure, take it. So I bet you it just works to show up in lowball as opposed to call in lowball.
Probably does. I mean, like when I've gone to buy motorcycles and things like this, I already know what I'm willing to pay before I go, and sometimes it's less than what they're asking. But I at least wait, go there, walk around, do an inspection, so I can justify why I'm offering them a lower price. Because, you know, that's something I know well. I know what it's going to cost me to do this or, you know, that or whatever. So I just start adding dollar signs, you know, to, you know, I'm just going to need a new sprocket, need new chain guards, you know, these bearings are shot, whatever, you know what I mean? So, you know, everybody's, according to them, everything's always perfect. You know what I mean? And nothing's perfect. So, you know, nothing's perfect. So everybody wants Booker better when they're selling, you know what I mean? But when you're buying, you always want less. So yeah, I guess it depends what side you're on. But I've also talked to people where I've driven 3 hours to pick up a 125. And I told the guy, you know, from the pictures, this and that, if I get there, look it over and it runs, I'll hand you the cash right then and there. And I rolled up and, you know, fired it up in a neighborhood, and everybody, probably the cops got called on me, ran it up and down the block. It ran great, loaded that shit up, was out the door. You know, so yeah, I don't necessarily but if you're asking a decent price, I don't mind paying you the price. So I got dicked on that one. So not really dicked, but the engine wasn't original for the bike. It was actually older, which in the long run turned out to be better actually. So it had more horsepower. So figure that one out. So I wasn't upset, except it was a little tricky to get like a new piston and stuff. So yeah, but I figured it out. Still happy with the deal.
Yeah, I love to haggle, but I lowball the shit out of everybody just because, like, if I'm selling stuff, I mark, you know, depending on what I'm selling, you know, say it's something that I'm hoping to get $100 out of, I'll mark it up to 150, 175 because I'm banking on whoever the heck it is coming in and saying, I'll give you this much. Okay. You know, because then if there's I'll give you 100, well, that's what I wanted in the first place. And
if you do what you're saying, well, I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and as far as, you know, people that are like, oh, I'm just gonna offer them this much online or something. Yeah, that's too easy to say no to. Friggin' show up, cash in hand, cash talks every time.
So
yeah, cash works. I've got good deals with cash.
When I got my Pathfinder, the guy was wanting $1,500 for it. So I, you know, and I was like, cool, you know, that's in the price range I'm looking. So I'll take it. I went and I took it for a test drive, and I was honest with the guy. I was like, look, you know, I'm just going to pass because I don't want to insult you by making an offer with everything that's wrong with this. So, you know, sorry for wasting your time. And the guy was like, no, make me an offer. Make me whatever offer. I'm like,
oh, that's a great tactic to take too. I love that one.
I'm like,
nice play.
I'm like, well, and I started listing like everything that was wrong with it, and I'm like, you know, with everything it's going to cost me to fix it, I'd be looking at giving you $700 for it. And the guy's like, oh, I don't know if I can go that low. He goes, what about 1,000? I'm like, I might go up to 800. And he goes, coin flip for $100. I'm like, okay. Let it ride.
Great.
Like it.
I wouldn't have coin flip. Yeah.
Did you win the
You're
coin
either
flip?
going to pay or you're not, you know. I don't know. I'm not going to voluntarily, because I lost a coin flip, pay an extra $100. But I'm a cheap bastard. I
agreed to it, but he's like, yeah, you know, I'll take the 800. So I gave him $800 for it.
See, like people that are willing to sit there and do the haggle and go back and forth, I will pay more money to. But the people that are like, I can't do that. All right, cool. Hit me back with another price. Yeah, too far apart. Which, if we're too far apart, hey, cool, we're too far apart. But the ones that are willing to sit there and haggle, I say I will gladly pay a reasonable price.
I did the same thing when my daughter bought Jessica. Well, she gave me the money to buy for her car. It was like a 2000 Grand Prix, and he was wanting $2,900 for it, and we haggled a little bit, and he's like, I drove it, and I said, well, what's your best price? He's like, $2,700, and I was like, man, I said, what about 25? And he's like, nah, he hauling around. I said, okay, 26. That way it makes me feel like I won. And he said, okay.
Oh, hell. See, you're way nicer than me. I'd have started down at 1,750, 2,000.
Oh, no. Well, see, there's a story behind the car.
I'd be like, get out of here, barbecue. I ain't no damn crackhead.
Right.
Bullshit. I just came home early for work for this shit.
Well, it was a 2000 Pontiac, and I worked, and they bought it from Long Pontiac. Well, I worked there, so I actually worked on the car, and it had my pinstriping on it when I did the new car prep on it, and so I could tell because all of our pinstriping were different, from all 8 of us that did it. So I knew mine, and I was like, okay. And then I just called down there and said, hey, run this VIN for me. And the car's got like 66,000 original miles on it. It's just been sitting outside. So it's oxidized to hell and back. So, and then I went down there and they gave me the file on it. And sure enough, I worked on it. Some old lady owned it. And he told the story about it that from an old lady. I said, yeah, okay. And I've already got the VIN off the car and already had it checked out before I even went and drove it. So, it was well worth that, and then I had to do a tune up to it here last weekend, and it had the original plugs and wires on it still.
Yeah.
So, Chris, I saw in the side chat you might be muted.
Yeah, I'm here.
So you have a page pulled up that you want to.
Yeah. So we got our first USPSA match tomorrow morning, and one of my best friends that I shoot with that's on my squad, he's got a really badass open gun, and I've been wanting to review it on the channel, but I didn't want to ask him if I could borrow it. And then tonight I was like, I'm just going to ask him. So he said I could have it. So he's going to let me bring it home tomorrow. So I don't have an actual picture of his gun, but let me get the screen up here. So basically this is the gun that he has. And I'm going to bring that home with me tomorrow. So this is a Lone Star Innovations 2011 open gun. And this is why I didn't want to ask him if I could borrow it, because of that price tag right there. But he's going to let me bring it home tomorrow. So,
man,
I'm kind of excited.
Does it tell you that it loves you a long time?
I've actually shot it at matches before. The other reason I didn't want to ask him if I could borrow it was because of the 9 Major. I don't load it. So I told him I would give him bullets and primers if he'd let me borrow it, because I don't know how to load the ammo for it. So this comes with a 9 Major barrel, and then it comes with a 38 Super Comp.
Is that a giant like a bolt lever or something?
That right there?
Yeah, on the side. Is that
yeah,
like
it's a charging handle. Now, the only reason I really wanted to borrow this gun is because I'm left-handed, and the guy that owns this gun's left-handed. So it's everything that you're looking at is all reversed on it. It's already set up for a left-hander. So I thought that was pretty cool. He's going to let me take this gun home for a couple weeks. So he's going to bring ammo tomorrow, and then I'm just going to give him primers and his brass back and bullets, and because he loads 124 grain, I think, into this. So I just don't have the powder, and I've never loaded 9 major, so I don't know how to do it. But he said he would provide the ammo. So that's what I wanted to show you.
Is he going to provide 200 rounds or?
Yeah, he's going to give me 200 rounds with it tomorrow.
Wow.
So 9 major just means that it's 9 like plus P or something?
Yeah, basically it'd be like plus P pretty much. Maybe triple P. I don't know.
Plus P plus.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Now, does that fancy color make it shoot faster?
This gun here probably has about a 0.8 ounce trigger in it, I would assume.
That
It's
gold
fast.
is gold isn't just for color, isn't that the finish that gives a lubrosity without oil?
Yeah. I don't
Those are
know if his, like I said, this is the exact gun he's got, but the colors are definitely, I mean, I know his colors are all different.
I mean, sometimes it's just anodizing, but there's some finishes that you can put on steels that are designed to offer friction resistance and then without need of oil. So there are performance enhancing coatings. I don't know if this particular one has it, but some of them are gold.
Mm-hmm.
Like the result is gold. And then people go, oh, your gun's all tricked out. Well, my gun has no, friction. So whatever color
Yeah,
it is.
so this would all be gold nitride on this one. So yeah, I'm excited. I've been wanting to ask him for a while, but then I'm like, man, that's a lot of money sitting there.
So what if you drop it in the dirt?
Let's not talk about that. I'm not going to drop. Hopefully, I won't drop it.
You're
I have
gonna do a
shot it.
torture test?
I've probably shot 100 rounds through this gun. Him and I practice together a lot, so he has let me shoot it. So it's not like I've never shot an open gun. I've shot a lot of open guns actually. It's just
So Bald says 124 grain bullet out of that open gun has to be making at least 1350 FPS to make power factor.
Look at Tupperware's one right after it.
What Tupperware say?
yeah, I know that. I know he's loading these with over 8 grains of powder. I've talked to him about his recipe before. I just don't know exactly what it is.
Tupperware just said that typical 9 is 3 to 4.5 grains of powder, and then that major is 7.5 to what you're saying 8 plus. So, like literally more than double, almost triple a 9mm powder load. Can there be a more desperate attempt to not be 9mm? Just go 45.
That's literally what I've been thinking.
To 45
or 40.
Well, you can't.
If you're a girl, you can go 40. At that point, just go 10mm.
10mm.
Hey, there's too many targets for 40 or 45, okay?
It's a capacity issue with that because of the competition we shoot. They want as many rounds in those mags as we can. So that's why he's running 9 major.
Oh, that's why they
32 ACP then.
Is it major because of steel that has to be knocked over, or because of accuracy?
Because if you're running an open gun, I think you have to be either over 165 or 166 grains on power factor. So if they go up to 38 super comp, I want to say they lose 1 round in their mag. And not only that, the brass is ridiculously expensive for it. You can shoot 40. 40s will get you major power factor, but then you lose your mag capacity because that gun has to fit in a box. So that's why a lot of open shooters run 9 major, because it's cheaper than 38 super comp, and then they get to keep the same amount of mag capacity they do for 9mm.
Now it looks the same, or does it have a new head stamp, or does it just look the same as any other 9mm?
It's all the same. Yeah. It's just the compensator on the gun and the way the gun's built can handle the extra pressure of that 9 major round.
But if you put a 9 major into a standard 9, would it have problems, or would the gun have problems? I mean,
It'll blow it up.
oh, okay, more than
Yeah.
problems then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
it would just, if you like put that in a Glock 17 or a polymer gun, it would just, it'd explode on you.
Well, that's frustrating. So they're making 9 Major out of other brands, so it's not going to have like a head stamp. Nobody puts a plus on it. You just have to remember which ones are 9 Majors
Right.
and not.
And I know Bald knows a little bit more about open guns than I do, but
Bald says it's 165 power factor, bullet weight times velocity.
Yeah.
That's strange. I thought the competition ammo was like weaker. Basically just enough to get the slide to move, to get it to function.
Well,
and
you're
the
right,
power
though,
factor
Rob.
was just to make sure that, everybody was at a level playing field in a sense.
And you're exactly right about that. Like if you were shooting carry optics, your power factor is a lot lower than what. See, the guys that are shooting open guns, they get extra points. So that's how they level out that playing field, is by making them shoot such a high power factor.
Okay.
It's like,
all right, yeah, because like I said, it just seemed like quicker back on target, boom, 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 whatever. So I would have thought it maybe wouldn't even cycle in a regular gun because it's not all lightning cut it up and all that super slicked. But yeah.
And that's what Bald just said too. That's the other issue with 9 Major. They don't reuse their ammo. They don't reuse their brass. They either use brand new brass or once fired brass, because the pressures from that round it just destroys that brass.
So you just melt it down after.
Yeah, you don't want to run it through there again.
But that's just one type of shooting. There's a ton of different shooting sports, and there's definitely shooting sports where, that like what you're saying, Rob. Like I know single action shooting, sometimes they do stuff just to make the gun make noise or smoke. Like they're not really worried about ballistics or whatever. In fact, they want the least ballistics possible for some sports.
Right.
So we have MacMan Reloading out in the crowd. Welcome, MacMan.
But then you get like a bowling pin match, and it's probably a whole different thing, depending on what kind of bowling pin thing you're going at. If the pins are at the front or the back of the table, you need to deliver energy a whole different way. And that's why shootings can be so cool, because then it turns into chemistry and physics and math and mechanics.
Because I've shot a lot of bowling pin matches too. And those guys will actually load their rounds down to just enough to get their gun to cycle and enough to knock that bowling pin off. So they'll tailor that round just to the bowling pin match. All they want it to do is cycle the gun and knock that pin over, and they'll teeter right on that line to get the least amount of recoil out of that gun, but still be able to cycle it and knock that pin off.
So Mandatory Carry says, is there a way to convert 10 millimeter to 40 cal and 9 mil? Yes.
Not
depending upon your firearm, you could barrel swaps.
Oh, yeah, I guess I was thinking about the actual manufacturing of the round.
Yeah,
why would you want to do such a terrible thing?
I don't know, but I'm just saying you could do it if you want. You could take a 10 mil, barrel swap to 40. You could take another barrel and swap to a 357 SIG, and you could have another barrel where you're being able to shoot 9 mil if you want the inferior round. I haven't seen Dead Horse in forever. PNW Wood says Dead Horse used 41 mag for pin match.
I heard from Dead Horse. It was a few months ago. He had popped into Amphi the one night, just in the text chat. And then he messaged me on Instagram. He's like, "Why am I blocked? What are you talking about?" And went and looked, and sure enough, he was blocked. I'm really sorry, dude. I had no idea. But then haven't seen him around since. But he said he was doing pretty well when we were messaging back and forth.
So we have yesterday's Pomade, who just showed up, and Mr. DM Foss's co-host on the overnight, Baron SVG. So
Good
welcome.
dude.
Yes. If you're out there and you haven't thumbed up the stream, please do. It helps with being able to be seen out there in the algorithm.
So, how many subs are you up to now, G23?
386.
386.
Yep.
So we need to get you 114 more to get you that community tab. So
Exactly.
how many of these fine people are watching tonight?
There's 18 right now.
18. So I feel like in honor of Every Second Matters, these 18 amazing people who are out there sitting, listening, watching this, they could hit the share button, and then we all have Facebook or Instagram, some sort of social media. Hit that share button, copy the link, go over to your social medias, share it. Tell your friends how amazing this chat was, or go find your favorite G23 video, copy the link for that, and share that. And let everybody know, this guy's awesome. You should go subscribe to him. And let's get G23 to 500 now.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, we got to get you there.
Sorry, Every Second Matters would be a good chat to share too.
Yeah, exactly.
But I interrupt you there, Chris.
It's a win-win.
Ozzy says most bowling pin shooters around him use 45 AARP. The thing is everybody wants to shoot the pin people. Everyone wants to talk about shooting the pin people, as long as Kingpin, the king of the pin people, isn't around. I'm just saying.
I don't care. I go right after him and say I made the hostage video and everything. Showed him. I even took that bowling pin and dumped it in mayonnaise. Video is on my channel if y'all haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, the mayonnaise is where he drew the line.
I used to shoot bowling pins with a 45 high point. Used to make all those guys mad because it worked pretty well.
The Glock keychain.
That's pretty cool.
The smallest functioning Glock.
Here? I just brought out this 9mm, but I want to look in this bag. Can you imagine what's in this? Maybe Rob should step away.
Oh, that's horrible.
Rob is just jonesing right now. Let's say we all saw that photo that I shared the other night where he's reviewing a Glock.
I'm telling you.
So this is a 10 to 40, I believe. Yeah, this is a 10mm to 40. See how much barrel there is there? I'm pretty sure doesn't that look like a 10? Like it would be a 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what you're talking about. I don't know why anybody want to do this, but somebody did it. Ported, goofy logos and junk on it. It's all silvery. Wouldn't you want a barrel that's going to get hot to not be chrome? Because doesn't this hold heat? I would think you'd want this black.
Well, that's the reason why they put the porting in there to help dissipate the heat.
What? I thought that's just for recoil.
And recoil, it does a little of both. It kicks the flame out and stuff.
What do you think that one is?
357 SIG.
What the heck? It doesn't say. Oh, it's a 40 to 9. So this is taking a 40 down to 9. So that's another conversion. So big, thick, giant barrel. Aftermarket, though. So that means you can, with a conversion barrel, you don't need to change the slide or nothing, right? Just the mag. I guess.
Yep.
This one is also 40-9, but different color, and I don't know why I have that.
Well, if you got a 40 to 357 SIG, let's talk.
This is a 9. No, I don't know what the bag is, but this is 357 SIG to 9. Or actually, no, it's 357 SIG. So this is probably 40 to 357 SIG, huh? Yeah, that's a notch down.
Yep.
You can literally see the chamber in there with the neck or whatever. But I hate these ones with the wolf, so we might be able to talk. I mean, I don't really have a need to get rid of these things, but I don't shoot them ever. And then this is just plain old Glock. Like, this ain't an aftermarket conversion. So what is that one? Anyone? Why would what barrel would I have out of a gun that I'm not using and it looks unused?
9 mil.
Yeah, this was probably, is that a 17? It's probably out of a 17 that I turned into a 40. I'm not sure.
Could be.
The other thing is I'm out of gun shops a lot, so if I saw something like this sitting around for $10, I would just buy it because I'm weird and I would just buy dumb things because they seem like a deal, whatever. This is just a 9mm bag for no reason in here.
We have Ram 4x4 who stopped in and Guns and Water. So I know, Chris, you were saying you got to bail 5 a.m.
Yeah, man, I got to get up at 5 and get ready for my match in the morning. I don't like loading all my stuff in my truck the night before and leaving it out there. So I really appreciate the side chat. This panel's been great. I had a blast tonight with you guys. So, but yeah, I got to go, and I hope you guys all have a great weekend.
Well, I hope you have.
You're going to a match, right?
What's that?
You said you're traveling to a match?
Yeah, I got to leave I'm going to get up at 5, and we're going to take off out of here about 6 tomorrow morning.
Right on. Shoot good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, take it easy, Chris.
Yep. Thanks, Rob. Guns and Barbecue, RTAC, G-Webs. Thanks for having me on, man.
Hopefully you do well at your comp tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be rough. First one back, but I'll let you guys
22.
all know Wednesday night.
That's the 22 conversion.
Night, everybody.
Later, Chris.
Yeah, so this one's a signer, I think. Yeah, signer. Who's a decent dude. So this is just a whole upper. And then I don't know where the mag is. The mag must be somewhere. This one needs its own mag. It's got its own chamber and everything in here. Well, obviously. But anyway, yeah, that's the 22. For a 17. I wish I had a 22 for a 23, a 19 size frame. And Glock sights on it, which I don't know. Some people probably would rather have decent sights than like an aluminum version of the basic Glock sights for a 22.
That's funny. They got metal sights for their 22, but not for any of the other guns, huh?
Well, no, but that's made aftermarket by a guy named John Steiner.
Yeah.
But, he made them in aluminum, but yeah, they're not very refined. Like I would think for 22, you could get a much more accurate sight. Oh, that gross. It's kind of rust, I guess. This is a 34, so this is, I don't know, somehow I got a 34 slide in here.
Ported?
No, I like all 34s have this. This is just to compensate weight because it balances the slide. The front slide's going to sit on the same frame, so for whatever reason they cut these not for it applies to porting. The porting will fit in there, but this will be on a solid barrel also, just to whatever. It makes the balance right. Like if you take any of the Glock frames, I think they balance there because of that. Because of perfection, they balance. No other gun bothers to make it balance when it's all taken apart, so all the other guns are lesser. And then another 40 barrel. Does this bother people that it's a Glock barrel and in 40? That's like vampire poison and
confused person.
You're just jealous.
This is a Wilson 40, so It's weird that it says Wilson 40 S&W, and then you put a Smith & Wesson barrel into your Glock, and then it says Wilson Smith & Wesson in your Glock. How weird is that? So I guess this is just more accurate or something? Why would Wilson make a barrel for a Glock?
So, until the Gen 5, Gen 4, it was kind of really frowned on to run reloads through your Glocks. So that's the reason why a lot of people went with aftermarket barrels so that they could run the reloads.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right.
Yeah, poly-octagon rifling, or not octagon. Something.
Yeah. Polygonal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I have one in here? Yeah, that's interesting. I really like the polygonal. That's one of the reasons I like Glock. I think that's neat. This is what that 22 mag looks like. It's just a single stack mag, but it's in a big aluminum thing. So it kind of weighs the same as a full regular mag. I don't know if I guess he did that intentionally, but like it's so fancy in aluminum, there's no way I want to drop this. I feel like a CZ owner. Like my mag is all fragile. I don't want to mess with it. It costs too much.
That's funny.
Or an M&P owner.
Oh, no. My mags get dropped, man. Even my pro mags get dropped and they run fine.
Yeah, you can replace them too. You don't have to like look all over Czechoslovakia looking for a magazine if you.
Yeah.
I bet you nobody knows what these are because you haven't watched my old videos. You can definitely get something if you know what these are, because that means you've been watching our videos for a long time. What can you do?
Those the reflective paints for sights?
No, they're like things. They're not bottles of paint or anything.
Oh.
I don't think I can show you because of the rules. I did it on my video earlier, but I don't want to do it. Well, I guess I kind of did it in here earlier. But I'd have to go get a gun to show you what these are.
Honestly, I think those look like the original back straps for the adjustable back straps.
Not quite. This was an aftermarket company. You know Ergo Grips? Have you heard of Ergo?
Yep.
Company in New Mexico. They're up by Albuquerque. That company and a company here in Tucson called Kaiser, who made the front sight tool that looks like a piece of iron, because that's all he did is take a slice of iron and then made the front sight tool. Really strong front sight tool. That guy got with Ergo. They would take the back off the slide. I don't have a gun laying around. They'd take the back off the slide, off the grip, and then these were the inserts. So these are the prototypes, because I was working with them and I thought they were cool. So he gave me the prototypes. They're in different colors, but one of the problems with Glocks is their grip, right? So he would shave the back off of the grip of the frame, and then this piece inserts up into that channel behind everything, and then replaces the part he cut off with rubber. And then he made one that replaced it exactly the way what he sliced off. He made one that was a little flatter, which emulated a 1911 grip angle, and then one that swelled. So you would get three. You would send in your Glock, he would cut it, modify it, send it back with these three. And the one was the swell of a SIG, the one was the replacement of the same shape, and the other one was the smoother, like 1911-ish thing. And they sold for a minute, and then I forgot who bought them. What's the company out of Phoenix that does a lot of Glock mods? Robar. I think Robar bought the concept off of them, and now they offer it. So if you look at Robar, that does if they still do it, and they do this thing, this is the prototypes of the guy who invented the concept with Ergo. And at the time I was doing their websites and stuff, so I wasn't part of the evolution of it, but I got to be part of the building the websites and stuff, and we did some videos and things. So those are just the replacement grips for those frames. Basically one-off, prototype evolution of a product type of stuff.
Now, something has a statement of being perfection. Why would you ever need to change the grips?
Yeah, that's the what do you say? Like, go into market demand of people that are crazy. Like, crazy people are out to buy stuff and have stuff. The rest of this, basically, I just had this little bag, and I kept my conversion barrels in here, which I don't really use that often. And then, like I say, working at the shop and stuff, hanging out, like somebody must have brought in like these these sights, the plastic ones that nobody wants. And I'm like, I don't want them. I threw them in this bag. There's just a bunch of a couple of base plates, and it looks like probably one of the little squatty 45s or something, like the spring there. Probably somebody brought in their gun to the gun shop, upgraded a bunch of parts, and these were the old parts, and they were like, I don't want those. And the gun shop was like, well, I'm going to throw them away. And I was like, well, I'll take them. And now they're sitting here. So I have a bunch of useless parts for guns I don't own because it's cool and they're free. Anyway, you were talking about a conversion barrel, and I was like, I wonder if I have that, because this, the reason I grabbed this out of here too is I don't own this gun anymore. So I'll give this barrel that takes 10 down to 40, no, 10 down to 9, and give it to the dude who has that gun now.
Mandatory carry.
He doesn't have that gun now.
He was the one that was asking about the. I think he has a P80 that he built.
Well, I've always been one for just buying another gun in that sense, but not that I'm against them or anything, but a lot of those things seem fussy, and you got to buy, by the time you buy, different mags or this or that, or the kit, I mean, they're around another $100, $150 and you got a proprietary gun. So to me, it just, I don't know. I don't like screwing with things. When they work good, I like to just let it ride. But everybody's different or whatever. So it's cool they do have them out there, I guess, if you didn't want to buy another gun for one reason or another. Although it does seem like most of these kits, I mean, of course, it depending on, your brand of gun, they're pretty damn close to just buying another gun. I mean, maybe, another used gun per state. So,
Yes. So, yes, I can, Ozzy. You can email
think
me.
about the folks that have situations where, like, I live in a state where I've got to I can only own limited amount of guns, or I can only afford a limited amount of guns, I guess.
that's a good point right there. Something
but then
I didn't even consider.
Well, and then like in Vegas, specifically in Clark County, I guess, but in some other places, I'm sure, you have to put the serial number of the gun you're going to carry. And let's say you normally carry a 40 or something decent, and then something happens and you need to carry another caliber, you feel like carrying another caliber, maybe for whatever reason, right? So that I could see it maybe, but I think more for people that just can't afford for whatever legal reasons. Because I think of that when people have mentioned, why do you have those double guns, like a shotgun and a rifle together? And some people are like, yeah, that's dumb. Why don't you just carry one or the other? But in some of those countries where you can only own a gun, then that's a pretty practical gun to own, right? So I was just thinking of that. Although I can't imagine that's very many people. So, it's only some states, and then the people that decide I have to have whatever, that modularity. I mainly got these because they were cheap. Again, I would get them when people brought them in used or something and they weren't going to sell. And then just because I think it's neat that you can get different calibers out of one gun, just see like one, I don't know how to make it the most effective, but you could get one, probably a 45 or 10 millimeter, immediately switch it to the other, and then all the sub calibers, and then get a 22 kit for it. It's just that I don't think they make a 22 kit for the 45 frame. So I don't know how they actually stack it up, but I just thought it was a neat aspect of the gun that because it's got those parts that it's like a 1022, where pretty much, like you said, you can buy every aftermarket. Well, you can literally buy an 80% or in every aftermarket part and have a Glock that has no Glock in it. It's kind of like a 1022 or an AR-15 at this point. So because of it, it was just neat that in the early 2000s, these things were coming around. And then by the late 2000s, I could pick up the used ones that nobody wanted. Because like you said, they would just buy another gun. Oh, I do like shooting this other caliber. I'm just going to buy another gun because this is annoying, having to switch this out every time I want to change calibers. And another gun's not that much.
Yeah, it's my thinking. God forbid you got to grab it in a hurry or whatever. You don't have to worry about grabbing the wrong mag or putting the wrong rounds in it or anything weird like that. So, is that structured water?
No, I just put my water in there, and I'm like, there's a dog hair in there. It took me like 3 tries to get that dog hair out of there.
Hate when that happens.
It's just plain old tap water that sits around in the refrigerator long enough to let the fluorine chloride evaporate off of it.
Alrighty, gentlemen, I got to split out of here. G23, thank you for the link, sir. I didn't realize I had it until you mentioned it, so do appreciate that. And
is about to go live in 4 minutes with Suicide Prevention Saturday.
Yep.
He's gonna cork them.
Yep.
He thinks his meat is more important than suicide prevention.
Only when she runs long, but normally she's only like 15 minutes and done. So
that still didn't sound good by what I said.
Yeah.
She only runs 15 minutes.
So, but yeah, I'm going to jump out of here. Go listen to that while I let the dogs out and everything and get ready for my chat. So, like I said, appreciate it. Happy every second matters to everybody. And again, if you're out there listening, you go hit that share button, copy link, and go put it on all your social medias. Tell your friends to check it out.
Yep. And thank you again for jumping on. I sent you the link because you normally do the Every Second Matters chat, so So I was like, well, I'll send him a link.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm saying if you ever want more Smith & Wesson fans in here, you can send me a link anytime.
Oh, I keep the Smith & Wessons limited. That's why RTAC's only allowed on every other Saturday.
We'll see. We'll rotate.
I like Glocks too, so that's why I get every other Saturday. I'm like the child being shared between two parents.
So what is that? Where's that put me? I'm here all the time. What do I get, a token spot or something? I mean,
yeah.
What's going on here?
You're token. I thought you just said it yourself.
Everybody knows I ain't no damn Glock guy. So.
I don't want people to say that I'm like super biased, so I allow you on the panel.
Okay. So is it?
It's
a
street
New York
cred
thing, or
it's a street cred thing.
Oh, okay.
No.
Plus, Rob can go, I have friends that shoot in GSSF matches.
Yep. With guns I can't afford.
I would definitely like to see Smith & Wesson doing something, because other brands and are doing more than just sponsoring shooters. They get, they're big. Don't they make shotguns? And they definitely make rifles.
I think, Smith makes shotguns because they tried stealing the KSG and fucked that up.
They also make rifles. They own Thompson Contender.
Yeah, did they make shotguns before that new?
Yes.
Full pub. Okay.
Back in the day, they did.
I know I've seen Smith & Wesson shotguns, but they're not like common like a Mossberg or a Remington or anything. But they may own, because they're a big company, they may own some other little shotgun company that I'm not thinking of. Or we're not thinking of.
I know. We may have, yes. So we have some Gorn for Every Second Matters from Ozzy. I think that's his little sea camp. In his custom made holster that he made himself. With his orange and black Every Second Matters and the 2A flag. So
yeah, I dig that. I don't know if I haven't seen that before with the snaps, but I've definitely seen pocket holsters where they're ripped there. So I like that because now the stress is on the metal, and then, or I guess the much like more distributed stress on those rivets, than just a couple of threads. And if something's going to give, or it's going to get to a point where it would rip the threads, it's just going to unsnap. So I dig it. Unless the concept is to yank the thing out and it unsnaps as you draw, in which case I can also dig it.
Yeah.
But I've seen those kind ripped, and usually it's like the attachment point is still sewn on, but the part that holds the gun gets ripped because there's just too much stress going on there. So I haven't seen it with the snaps like that, but I dig it. Look how big that gun is. That's those patches, and it's barely bigger than the patches.
That's his own design, and wow, you can get right in there.
How come you can enhance without even an issue, and like Gizzard can barely enhance his pictures, and he's a freaking tech.
I know he's an IT guy.
Yeah, and Barbecue never even bothers to try to enhance.
I mean,
we can see the
look at that detail.
And that cow's mom gave him.
I mean, look at
Ozzy does good work, man. I tell you,
look at the
got
detail.
no complaints on the holster I got.
You talk about, I mean, that is detailed. I know you'd think the IT guy would be able to do this way better than I could, considering I'm just a layman. So that is an awesome holster there, Ozzy. Can't wait for you to retire and start making holsters full time. So maybe we can see some more innovative designs out of you.
I know where you're going with this, and look, man, Ozzy's got taste. He ain't making no damn Glock holsters. So
you're wrong. He's already made Glock holsters because he bought his daughter a Glock.
That's different. That's for family. But I doubt he's gonna make a Glock guy one.
You never know. So and Guns and Water says New York Outcast, I leave the light on for you. Oh, for your voice.
Oh man, I thought I had a place to stay if I ever get the boot.
Only your voice.
All right. Cool.
Ozzy says that's just the prototype. I could do better. Dude, I'm just saying that looks pretty sick, in my opinion. I don't think G-Webs is going to argue. That was a nice friggin' looking holster. Loving the design.
Think an emergency stash spot would be good in that holster if it's an option. I don't know if like the leather on the back's 2 layers, but if you can make a pocket so you can stash like an emergency $100 bill in there, that would be cool.
Sure,
I don't know. Well, everybody may not be that way, but I think it's good to stash some emergency money. You forget about it and hopefully you remember it during your emergency, but yeah, it has its benefits. I mean, shoot, it could be ammo money, right? You end up out with your buddies and you're going to do whatever and stumble across a gun shop and oh man, I can't Can't swing that this month. The old lady will have my ass. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I got that money here. You know what I mean? There's lots of ways to look at things. It's great to forget about money.
Yeah, you don't want her to slap you like you was Chris Rock or something.
Yeah. I don't even get on that, man. Yeah, they were talking about that last night. Both the girls in this house were like, should have done more than smack them. But yeah, of course, yeah,
I don't
they're
know.
gonna say that. So
I think it was all. I think it was all staged for trying to get ratings.
Might have been. Who knows? Who knows?
Agree.
I don't know.
Staged. Actors being actors.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I don't have to worry about hiding money or stashing money or none of that. Well, if I want to keep money, I gotta hide money and stash money. So there's been times in the past where I'd get a commission on jobs, and I didn't always volunteer that information. Yeah, make sure everything's handled first before I bring up the idea of extra money, because in my opinion, there really isn't any such thing as extra money. I mean, not on my scale, maybe Trump scale or something, but not my scale.
I don't know what it is, man. I could find it. I could have a $20 bill. I guarantee you, in 35 seconds, my wife is going to know that I have that $20 bill.
That's messed up.
She's going to be like, "You got cash? Hand it over."
That's funny. Nah, my lady, she'd never know, I guess. One time years ago, I had a court ticket to deal with my license and stuff, and I was driving a company truck and this and that, so it was like it had to get dealt with. So I got a pretty decent payment in and didn't say a damn thing. And we were like, living like poor for a week or two till court came up. And then once I went in, dealt with it, paid whatever I had to pay, this and that, cleared everything up. And she was like so shocked. Like she thought I was going to jail, and they said, threw out a price or whatever. It was hilarious. They paid that off, man. We went out and we were like ghetto rich for like the next week, because just with, the change of it or whatever. But the whole point was like, I ain't telling nobody nothing, paying my business first. So seems like everybody's always got a good way to spend your money. You know what I mean? They don't want to spend their own, but they know how to spend yours.
So, like, I never carry cash. I always have the, plastic. And I understand why, because I'm notorious for losing stuff. And it would kind of suck if I lost $100 bill,
That's crazy, man. How do you lose stuff? That's like little kid stuff. Like, I think I've lost my wallet once, and it didn't even get lost. It got taken by a girl with some drug problems. And then I found it, laying underneath my car. How convenient. But Neil State, I don't think I've ever lost that, or my house key, like, since I was like 7 or 8. Like, I don't know how, that would make me concerned. Like, how do you know you're not just going to forget your gun somewhere? I mean, like, you can't even trust yourself with $20. I'd be a hell of a lot more worried about a firearm. But
I have lost sunglasses. I have broken sunglasses. I'm like
seems weird.
More normal. I'll break a pair of glasses. Yeah, I'll break sunglasses left and right.
Yeah. I like cash. Nobody ever says no. 2 a.m, whatever. Cash works.
Yeah.
I got no fear of carrying cash. I don't care if it's $20. You're gonna have to fight me to take what's mine. I ain't giving anybody shit. So, and I've already been put in that situation. I'm you're not taking nothing.
Try breaking a 50 at a convenience store at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, I've done it. So, it's not the end of the world. Some places act like it's a lot of money, but think about it. I mean, even $100 isn't shit. I mean, that's not even a tank of gas for my truck. I mean, give me a freaking break. Like, it's shame these people, I guess. It's ridiculous. I've never really had issues with cash. I've actually gotten better deals, all types of stuff with cash. I've gotten services I wouldn't have gotten before because it was cash.
Well, happy endings always come with cash.
No, I'm just saying, because people, nobody likes to say no to cash. You can, like we were talking about earlier, they advertise for $2,000, you show them $1,500 cash, they're probably going to take that. And I've actually seen like the wife chew the dude out because he wanted to try to haggle, and I walked away and not bought his bike. And then they called me back up begging me to come take it for that price. And I could hear her bitching in the background. Yeah, people like cash. Cash pays your bills. So I don't know. I don't need a middleman for my money. I don't want my cards getting eaten, any of that baloney. I'm responsible.
Even the wife laughed at my comment about the happy ending.
Yeah, I don't pay for those. I've never paid for sex in my life. Well, depending how you look at it. I spent some money and had a good night, but I never went to like a facility or, one of them escort things. That's just not my thing. I've had customers that try to meet at the strip club and I don't go. I'm not interested. Like, I'm not going to throw my money away. Like, I don't know. Even if somebody else is paying, I don't know. It just, I don't know. I love women, but I don't love like that sleazy crap. And I'm not just tossing money to you because you shake your ass. It's just not going to happen. Sorry.
Timothy Burkett says, I have a relative in New York that has never left her borough or county.
Yeah, there's some New Yorkers like that. Some have never even driven a car. I had an uncle like that. Never owned a car, never driven a car. Plenty of money, but just, and he don't go nowhere either. It's weird.
See, even Guns and Water says, here's some more shoes, baby. Here's some flowers for Valentine's, baby. You got nothing to say, do you? You got nothing.
I was partially distracted in that. So, apologize. You probably don't want to repeat it, so.
Go ahead.
I even said, look, Guns and Water says, here's some more shoes, baby. Here's some more flowers for Valentine's, baby. Divorce guys pay double.
Yeah. Well, that's what you get for getting married.
Hey, some states, depending upon how long you're with, they consider that a common law marriage, and so the woman is entitled to 50%, just like if you actually had gotten that government piece of paper. Just saying.
It's crazy, man. That whole entitled. I don't know. I got issues with that, man. Yeah. If I don't know, you were eating ramen noodles when we met, and we didn't have children, and we didn't build a business together, and you decide to sit on your ass and play pretty all day, do nothing, then you should be eating ramen noodles when we leave. Yeah, my opinion.
So
I don't know.
Mr. JH586 says, you know why divorces are so expensive? Because they're worth every penny.
Maybe, I wouldn't know. So, as somebody that writes a lot of contracts, I don't like signing into a bunch of contracts, especially, I don't see what the state's business is, why they have to have anything to do with it personally. But
I've been with my woman for 21 years. 21 years.
she was chained up for like 18 of them.
It's like,
if you're married for 21 years,
2.5 years.
If you're married for 21 years, does that mean your marriage can buy a pistol?
right? We 2001 to now. This is 2022, so that's 21 years, RTAC. 21 and almost almost 21 years, July 4th.
21 years for me and my wife too. This.
Hey guys.
What's going on,
Tori?
Nothing much.
Yeah, but Rob said she's been locked up for 18 years. I think it's been like 19 and a half.
You're both wrong.
Oh, is she still locked up?
Probably knowing him.
Jamie says, what food is the number one killer of sex drive in the female?
No idea.
I'm going to say chocolate.
It's going to be like wedding cake or something.
Right? It probably is. It could be wedding cake. Yep, wedding cake.
I would figure it to be a simple phrase like "I do."
What is the number one food, or what food is the number one killer of sex drive in the female?
Killer?
Uh-huh.
That's funny. You seeing that alone, that's horrible, man. You go through all the trouble. You try to make her happy. You spend, $5,000 on this stupid ass cake. And then she shuts down shop as soon as you sign the deal.
That's probably true.
There you go. From a female who says that's true.
That's why you don't get married.
She's still laughing her ass off, and she even admitted that's true. Wedding cake. Even Jamie heard her laugh, and he's like, "Oh, Defense Dad says it's Rob's chicken fried steak."
No, that's the reversed method there. So
No, that's
the
just
last
trying
thing
to
they
kill her.
want to, the last thing they want to do is get stuck with you cooking for them.
I thought Rob's chicken fried steak is how you get out of a wedding.
Pretty much. That's exactly it. That's funny.
You know,
When
and
I had to
nobody.
basically teach my lady how to cook, and then after all these years, I've just gotten horrible at it.
And
Conveniently.
no one would ever expect to be assassinated by a black man's chicken.
Exactly. It's a secret weapon. Who would think, you know?
Yep. So glad you all got to enjoy the wife laughing at the answer. So, and congrats, Jamie, on your 19th anniversary Monday. So we'll give you a pre-congratulations. Oh, this is definitely not a PG show. Oh crap! I gotta email myself. Oh wait, no, I can just show the email I sent to Guns and Barbecue. Dude, that was
Yeah, speaking of PG-13, I did a post about your gifts there, Artak, but I don't think it was well received, so I took it down I think yesterday or something. So I did get your mail. Made a little joke with it, but I don't know. I guess the humor didn't stick or something. So a lot of my other stuff had like 17, 16. I mean, it's not a lot, but you know, people commented, liked or whatever. The one I did for you, I got like 2 likes on it. So so that's why I made a point to mention it on the show earlier too. So so you're aware.
Say what now? The video you did just for me flopped?
Well, it was a post, yeah. Like well, I'm not gonna say it flopped, but I don't think it was received well. I don't know. So because usually I get a better response from things after a couple days, and like the first image was a silhouette, like you know, you couldn't see anything, but it was like a silhouette of a girl with a pole, because of the whole stripper clip thing he sent me. So basically, I tried to make a joke, like he sent a stripper to my house trying to get me in trouble.
Well, apparently,
that was the point. it wasn't. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I guess it wasn't funny to everybody else. So
wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
You gotta have a military sense of humor for.
Yeah, I'm not.
Hey, Rob.
PG anything. The less kids are around.
Hey, Rob, can you read the screen?
What kind of question is that? Because I'm half black, you think I can't read? Is that what's going on here?
I think you should read the screen out loud.
What, hickory dickory dock, my wife avoids my clock. She's losing her hair and having an affair. Glad to slap Chris Rock. Okay.
And it's not clock. It's just you got to drop the L out of the clock.
Sorry. I don't know. See, now I wish you didn't read that, man, because I disagree to that. Not that I'm a Will Smith fan or nothing, but it's pretty much public knowledge. She's one of them people that don't believe in a regular marriage. So, it's already known. Yeah. I've met people like that shit, I had a dude at work try to get me to clean this up. Guy at work tried to get me to hang out with his wife, Like, some people are just that way. So, the public sees it different, but if they don't care, what the hell do you care? You know what I mean? So, trying to pick on her for that aspect, I mean, I don't see that as a thing. I mean, it's not a thing to them. It might be a thing to you and your household, but it ain't a thing to them. So, I don't see.
It
seems like
best friend.
I don't know, low hanging fruit or something that doesn't even add up. So
you should have wrote Glock instead of cock. That'd have been funnier.
I didn't do that.
I know.
I went to work I went to work, and that was on a whiteboard at work, and I was like, dude, that's fucking hilarious.
This has been like the best week for memes for that all week. I've been shit posting on Facebook.
So speaking of that, you guys not come across people like that?
Yeah, open marriages.
I'll tell you, like younger people, it's becoming a more and more common thing.
Open marriage or
Slap the shit out of somebody.
What's the other?
It's not really. What do they call it? Polygamist or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
polygamy.
Yeah, I don't think the newer people are looking at it that way. Yeah, from the impression I got, they're not looking to be married and raise kids and be the third wife and all that shit. They're just looking to have fun. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll just go from there.
I know a lot. I know a lot of females that are open to having, another female. In the relationship as a polygamy kind of setup.
Couple times I've had chicks try to pick up my chick and me at the same point. So whether it was like a makeup counter or out at the boardwalk, stuff like that, like it's starting to become a thing. So
it goes back.
I don't know if that's changing culture or what's
No, we're just
this is
reliving.
going to be the new norm.
We're reliving the '60s, the free love. It's not so free. Everyone's gonna have to make sure that they start carrying around some penicillin.
Well, do you think there's any correlation to like a lack of, say, alpha males?
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Where women are just would rather share with what they perceive to be a real man and settle for, what they don't, I guess. I don't know. I'm just throwing questions out there. I don't really know. So
maybe we should send an invite to Jada, get her on here. Asked her, she could be able to tell us why she didn't think Will Smith was enough for her.
Oh, Will Smith. I'm thinking who's that?
He's definitely destroyed that man.
I think,
dude, she's dating their son's best friend. That's not messed up one bit.
From what they say, they had his blessing. So I don't know.
As long as
I said, that's not me, but it's America. You know what I mean? And they're all above age. So
I was gonna say, as long as they're over 18, what's it really matter?
Oh well, hell, that's
kind of weird.
My oldest to find me a woman. Then bring me one of your friends. Bring your friends over.
Yeah, like Duke Menes. I mean, Duke
there's whole communities down in Florida supposedly that are like that. I don't know if you get to a certain age and you just don't care and fly the freak flag or what goes on, but
swingers. Think back to the 60s and early 70s when you had swingers and swinger clubs.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just like fashion. Everything goes around in cycles. Just like, gun laws,
like STDs
and stuff like that. Everything goes in a cycle. The run on ammo, the run on reloading supplies,
the run on poon.
She's been awful quiet on this one.
He's watching Suicide Prevention Saturday with Brooke Cheney.
Well, he lives.
I was posting a thing on Instagram, but no, I was watching that. But now I'm waiting for barbecue and trying to wait patiently. I'm the guy looking at the sky at the bus stop while y'all get to the next conversation.
He can't say a whole lot. He's out there by the Mormons.
Arizona is nowhere near Utah.
Yeah, I don't think there's. I think we're closer to that group of Mormons that are in northern Mexico than we are to the Utah Mormons, unless there's one bottom of Utah. Well, I guess it's all the Utah Mormons. I don't know.
Didn't
That's kind
the
of sketchy.
New Mexican or the Mexico Mormons get slaughtered?
Well, no, I think some people did get killed, but I don't think the
Yeah.
entire settlement got slaughtered. You're not going to just slaughter Mormons. I mean, I think that would make some news if you tried to attack
Oh, it did.
Mormons physically. That would not go well for the people doing that.
It did. It made news. That was just like,
No, but it was because they attacked like 2 busloads of kids or carloads of kids. I mean, it was horrible, but it wasn't like they followed them back to their settlement and started trying to take out the settlement, because they're like, that was not a settlement that you could just take.
yeah.
I mean, anyway, I don't think that's what happened. I think it was just the thing, and then there was some tension.
Is
and I
that
don't
funny
know.
beds?
But anyway, I know that's somewhere in northern Mexico, not too far south of here. But it takes me, I mean, if I drove nothing but driving, it would probably take me 2 days to get to Dead Horse in Salt Lake City area.
Bald says when he turned 40, he asked his wife for a threesome, and she said, "Fine, as long as she gets to pick out the other guy, not what he was looking forward to."
That's funny. Yeah, it sucks, Bald.
You pick out somebody, and she's like, "I said it, dude." And you're like, "I'm not a biologist."
Right?
That girl over there. I mean, that person over there.
Well, you could always go back to that senator who couldn't define what a female was.
See, I remember one time getting home from work, having clothes laid out for me, and I was ordered to go take my girl's friend out on a party bus because her boyfriend wasn't going to take her to go to strip clubs and all that type of stuff. Like, I was straight up ordered to make sure she had a good time.
We'll have to have confirmation to believe that shit.
I know. Where's Misfits, darling?
She's taking my mom shopping at the moment.
Isn't it about time for her to show up in the side
you can bring it up next time. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
Normally, when you start to say something crazy, all of a sudden, she just pops in the side chat. So,
okay. So that's why she's been crazy or been silent. She's out with your mama.
Yep, out with my mama shopping. So my mom loves to call it like 8, 9 o'clock, talking about she's ready to go shopping. So,
it's kind of funny. He wants to use the excuse that she's out shopping, but we know who really has who chained up in the basement. It's just shopping is code for I got her chained in the basement and I'm not telling anybody.
No. She's not in a cage. Not anymore.
I let her out of the cage, I promise.
I did.
Is there a trap door down there where you keep her?
No, we actually had a cat go in yesterday to be fixed. So, female cat. So she's in this cage, which you guys probably can't see. Which I don't know if anybody noticed that in the show earlier today, but I just gonna make a point to say something because people are probably wondering what the hell that is. But
should have said it's a souped-up wildcat.
So do you have?
I feel like if I brought a cat into the vet this day, today or this weekend, if I brought a cat into the vet and then they go, "Is it a male or female?" I'd go, "I'm not a biologist."
That was the Supreme Court nominee that said that, not a senator.
You're only gonna be able to use that for a little while, I figure, and that's the best opportunity I could think of to be able to do it, where somebody's going to be able to go, "All right, I can't say nothing about it because it applies here."
So now, Rob, did you cut up newspaper or get the special sand litter so that she's not using sand while she's still healing from being surgically fixed?
No, not that I'm aware of. I don't know what exactly has been done for that fact. I do know my daughter works at the facility that she got fixed, and our last cat went through no problem. So I would assume it's being done on the up and up. So,
Well, I know, but normally they tell you for, like a week or two after the surgery not to have them use sand in the litter box, to take and change it to either like pellets or shredded paper.
okay. Well, that's news to me, so I don't know.
So it's more sanitary,
Okay.
less abrasive on the stitches.
I'll bring it up then.
Just saying. We've had 3
Sorry,
cats.
let me mute before I rinse my cup out, because I don't want anybody to freak out about water sounds.
We've had 3 female cats and had to deal with it. Hey, woman, what is it when after they get fixed about, like not using regular sand? Are they not supposed to use regular sand, or so they're not supposed to use regular sand? What are they supposed to use?
Like you said, cut up newspaper, or they have that special stuff.
Yeah, the pellet.
Yeah.
Like.
Especially because the sand is dusty and you can get infected.
That's what I was thinking. Have a good night, Jamie. So, there you go, Rob. If you heard it, even the wife confirmed it. And the wife is way more of a cat person than I could ever be.
Okay, cool. Definitely look into it then. I'll plug
It's
my
because-
phone in before it dies here.
It's because the sand is dusty. And so the dust gets up in there and can cause an infection into the incision. So that's the reason why they say that.
Oh, I got lucky. So let me plug my phone in 3%. I just plugged it in and it was on 1%. It was about to be gone. Yeah. No, for the price I pay for that cat sand, that cat litter, it should be dust free, but I will look into it anyway.
Should be, because we even get we get that stuff that's supposed to be like 99.9% dust free, but there's still a little bit of dust. So yeah, we buy that. What kind of crap do we buy?
They all say that.
You can hear the wife. We tried to switch over to, what was that crap? The like sawdust or whatever. The all natural, like it kind of looked like sawdust. But
I've got buckets of sawdust.
one of the cats was like, "Nope, give me my sand, or I'm gonna shit on the floor."
See, I'd think sawdust would be bad in a sense because it forms a paste around moisture. At least it does all over me.
Well, yeah,
so,
because it's supposed.
Yeah,
That's why
I don't know.
more
I suppose
clumping.
with, so I don't know. The cat's, it's a New York cat. It'll be all right either way. I will bring it up, but she's tough enough to handle it. Shit,
So,
she's trouble actually. She broke out of her encagement at the vet. They thought the kid like took the cat home early or something. Turned out to be a deal. ordeal. They found the cat there, and then they put one of them collar things on her. She ripped it right off like a couple minutes later, so they can't get it to stay on. She's been nothing but a pain in the ass for them, so it's kind of funny, especially since we got like a screaming discount. I think we paid like $17 or something like that. It was something ridiculous.
Oh, damn.
Oh yeah. Well, it's perks of having an employee or whatever. So
Yep.
But
so Guns and Water says phone keyboards suck. You can order, or you can probably go to any like Staples or Office Depot or Walmart. Probably, I don't know. I don't shop at Walmart. And get yourself a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, and they will hook right up to your cell phone, right up to your tablet. And
a shitload of batteries, because they're always going to die when you're right in the middle of something.
These are Bluetooth. The Bluetooth are just like your cell phone. You charge them. And the one I have,
principle.
The one I have is, I've charged it one time when I first got it, and it's still running on that same damn charge, like fucking almost a year later. I have not recharged it, but I like
wired, like keyboards, mouses, all that. I prefer the wired. The wired never goes bad, man. Like it lasts for like 5 years, not a problem. Yeah. Always screwing with those batteries with all that other shit. So I guess maybe now you're charging it up or whatever, but still, it always seems like you need it when it needs to be charged.
Oh yeah, most of your Android phones that have Bluetooth Connect, if you have a Bluetooth keyboard, you can connect them right to your keyboard and to your mouse, and so you can use them to operate your phone. Like when I do video editing on my phone, I will use my mouse so that I can, if I need to cut part of the video out, it makes it a lot easier than trying to play on the phone. You just use your Bluetooth mouse, and it makes it so much easier. The only thing you can't do is, if you have it programmed to your computer and to your phone, one of the devices needs to be not on when you're trying to use it on the other device. So if you're using it on your computer, you can, most of the time it won't switch over to your cell phone, but if you have it on your cell phone and then you turn your computer on, it will go to the primary programmed device. So if you program it to your computer first, then it's always going to go to your computer as your primary. Were you going to say something there, G-Webs?
I got something totally off topic, and I haven't been trying to bring up anything with this stuff, either of these topics, literally, but it's the perfect blend of them, and I don't know if it's going around or if I just seen it or if I'm the first one to see it, but I just seen a thing where I don't think it matters who's texting, but somebody tells, oh no, here's what it is. It is the president of the Ukraine texting Will Smith and saying, have you heard what Putin said about your wife?
Oh God.
Jeez. I did a Facebook post like that Will Smith is going to the Ukraine so he can bitch slap some Russians.
Oh, you gotta be careful. Facebook doesn't find that kind of stuff funny. I can tell you from experience.
Yeah.
Call the president a pedo one time. See what happens.
He is a pedo.
Yeah, but call him a pedo on fucking Facebook one time and see what happens.
Maybe it's because you live so close to them out there.
Man, you call him a pedo. You post a question about the Fauci ouchie, and next thing you know, you're banned for fucking life. Just saying. I mean, I guess it could have been that I was been in the Facebook jail like a million times, so they were probably looking for a reason to get rid of me, anyways. But I'm just saying. So I know we've been going at this for almost 4 hours. Anyone have anything else on the 2A, or we want to go ahead and wrap it up and call the Every Second Matters stream over for the night?
I'm almost dead on battery life and don't want to be stuck to a cord, so I'd be taking off shortly. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do. But I'll be heading out shortly if you're not wrapping up.
Yeah, thanks for hosting. Thanks for taking over the Every Second Matters so that it keeps going again this month.
Oh, you're welcome. So let's start with the last person on the panel, Artak and Daughters. You have anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, just keep watching the channel. We got plenty of videos coming up, and we got channel patches now. So just send an email, and we're charging like $20 with shipping.
Damn. What about I get a hamburger today and I will pay you on Tuesday?
That's a deal.
Okay.
That's a deal. Only for you, though.
Mr. G Webs, you got anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Just say thanks again for hosting. I dropped a link to Barbecue, who's doing his meat chat right now over on his channel. So I dropped a link in your text over there.
Thank you. And if you guys want to hear about, I think they're talking diet and stuff like that, maybe playing with some meat. I'm not exactly sure, but Guns and Barbecue, who was on the live stream earlier, is hosting. So thank you. And Rob D, what do you got?
I'd say if you get bored later or something, check out my fill-in show for Rick's Life today. Let me know how I did. Leave a comment. Besides that, avoid the Glock brainwashing. Eat a salad. Stay cool, folks.
I know we have R&L Displays, which they do have Glock mags. So you can check out R&L Displays, use code G23, and get yourself 15% off an American-made product coming out of the horrible state of New York. So thanks to everybody, and we shall see you next Saturday, which will be episode 100. You never know what kind of shenanigans could happen then. Maybe if I can figure out how to end this thing.